Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is What If Naruto's Secretly Political Marriage with Hinata, Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this and comment for next part. And now let's start the fanfic. An unconscious Naruto was lost in the sea of his own memories. He recalled the pain of his past and the forming of Team 7 and the events that lead to his clash against Sasuke. Sasuke. Naruto called out to his teammate. Are you alright, scaredy cat? The raven-haired boy asked with a smirk on his face. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Hey, are you alright, scaredy cat? The blonde asked, his eyes turning crimson as he looked on at a frightened Sasuke with rage building within him. Naruto, I want to fight you, the dark-haired boy said shortly before the preliminary matches of the Chunin exam began. I want to fight you too, Naruto replied just before Sasuke's fight with Gaara. Shut up and fight me. The young Uchiha yelled in anger as he activated his Sharingan. Before we start, you'd better put on your Konoha head protector, Naruto said to the Uchiha boy on the rooftop of the hospital. You won't even lay a finger on me, let alone my forehead, Sasuke replied. You're pissing me off. Sasuke yelled at his teammate for thinking that they were equals. That's because you're still weak, Sasuke-chan. Naruto replied back to the Uchiha child. It's not meaningless, to me you've become my closest friend, the Uchiha boy said in the epic battle between friends and teammates that had finally begun. I won't let Orochimaru take you. The blonde said as the two stared each other down. Shut the hell up. Someone like you, who doesn't know of family or siblings, you had nothing in the first place. What the hell do you understand about me? The Uchiha child screamed back in the midst of the battle. I don't understand about real family or brothers. When I'm with you, I wonder if this is like being with a brother, Naruto said after tapping into Kyuubi's chakra with a surprisingly calm expression on his face. From now on, we fight as equals, but you will never be able to scratch my forehead, Sasuke said after putting on his Konoha head protector and preparing for another round with Naruto. You were special, but, Sasuke started to say as he underwent his transformation after activating his curse seal. I'm more special than you, Sasuke finished as Naruto looked on. The two charged in with their final attacks, and the outcome. Sasuke's Chidori hit Naruto's chest. Naruto's attack managed to scratch Sasuke's head protector. The last thing the blonde remembered before everything went dark to him was the sadness on his best friend's face. Deep down, Naruto knew that he had lost the actual fight, but somehow he felt satisfied. Sasuke had said that Naruto would never scratch his forehead. But Sasuke was proven wrong. Naruto couldn't kill his best friend. Instead he chose to win their silent bet. A smile almost appeared on his unconscious face as the Uchiha survivor stood over Naruto's body. The clang of metal could be heard as Sasuke's scratched head protector fell to the ground. Several minutes later Team 7's Junin, Hitaki Kakashi arrived. I was too late, Kakashi said, arriving as rain began to fall. Kakashi lifted the unconscious boy into his arms and began the long trek back to Konoha. Along the way several medical squads dispatched from Konoha met up with them. It was then that Naruto's teammates' fates were revealed. Naruto was still unconsciously holding on tightly to Sasuke's head protector. The mission was a failure. A young, pale-eyed girl sat by the unconscious blonde's bed as she watched his breathing. To the girl who watched him, his body seemed to be restless instead of sleeping peacefully. Naruto-kun, I hope you're going to be alright, the shy Hyuga girl said as she watched him. The girl's alone time with the sleeping Naruto soon ended as the door to his room opened and a pink-haired Kunoichi entered the room. What? Hinata-san, I'm surprised to see you here, the girl said as she noticed the Hyuga girl's presence. Sakura-san, I was just, Hinata started to stutter in response to Sakura. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Don't worry about it, Hinata-san. I was just a little surprised, that's all, Sakura interrupted. I was visiting Kiba-kun, and Neji ni-san earlier, and I was really worried, so I came to check on Naruto-kun," Hinata finally managed to spit out. But what are you doing here? Sakura-san," Hinata curiously asked the pink-haired girl. "I was also worried about Naruto. Actually, I was scared. I don't know what I'd do if I had lost Naruto too. Sasuke-kun left me, and if Naruto had died, I'd have never forgiven myself for begging him to get Sasuke-kun back. I was scared and afraid of being all alone," Sakura sadly replied. "Oh, I see," Hinata managed to say as silence seemed to fill the room. Both girls stared at Naruto for a while. It was Sakura who broke the silence by placing a vase down on the dresser near Naruto's bed. "You know, I was actually angry at Naruto at first," Sakura said, getting the Hyuga girl's attention. What do you mean, Sakura-san?" Hinata asked, looking confused. "Can you believe I actually wanted to blame Naruto for not bringing Sasuke-kun back? I actually thought it was his fault at first. When I saw everyone come back, and then I finally saw Kakashi-sensei carrying Naruto, I was still in denial. Then I saw Naruto holding something. It was Sasuke-kun's head protector. That was when I knew and realized that Sasuke-kun wasn't coming back. I started to cry shortly after that. I didn't cry though just because I had lost Sasuke-kun. I was also crying because of what a horrible person I am," Sakura said as tears began to fall from her face. "Sakura-san," Hinata said, looking on and listening intently to the girl. "Discover more. Books and literature. I realized how horrible I was. I actually wanted to blame Naruto. I wanted to blame him for breaking his promise to me. I mean, his way of the ninja is to never take back his words, right? I cursed at myself. How could I blame Naruto? I know he tried his hardest. I knew he'd never purposely do anything to hurt me, yet all I could think about was Sasuke-kun not returning. I didn't even think about how much Naruto had to be hurting as well. He lost his friend too. He failed to bring back someone who was important to him as well." Sakura finished as tears continued to stream down her face. "Sakura-san, you really shouldn't cry. Naruto-kun, I'm sure he knows you would never hold anything against him. I doubt he would ever think badly of you. Because you're important to him," Hinata told the girl. "Hinata-san, you really like Naruto, don't you?" Sakura asked. Her words instantly caused Hinata to turn a bright crimson. I, Hinata began to stutter. She found herself unable to speak. "It's okay, Hinata-san. It's kind of funny. I know you've been watching him for a while now. When I'd see that, I would always think things like, what does she see in Naruto? Or, how could anyone like that idiot? But I think I understand it now. He tries so hard to be noticed and he never gives up. Naruto truly is amazing," Sakura said. "Yes, he truly is. When I see him, I suddenly feel like I can change myself. He gives me strength. I wish that I could be as strong as he is," Hinata said as the two girls' eyes returned to the sleeping Naruto. "Have you ever thought about telling Naruto how you feel? If anyone would understand, it's him. But you'll have to be the one to tell him. I mean, you know how dense he is. He's so dense it's cute sometimes," the pink-haired girl said, turning toward Hinata. I want to. I want the courage to tell Naruto-kun how I feel, even if he didn't accept me. Even then I just want to gather the courage to tell him how I feel. If I can do that, then I believe I can truly change myself," Hinata replied to the girl. "Discover more. Books and literature. Books. You know Naruto isn't the only really amazing person in the room. You're amazing too, Hinata. Unlike me, you really know what you want deep down. I'm sure he'd accept you. Do your best, okay? I've got to be going now," Sakura said as she began to head toward the door. "Thank you, Sakura-san," Hinata said as the door closed, leaving her once again alone with the blonde genin. She turned to face him once again. "Please wake up soon, Naruto-kun. I draw my strength from you." As the girl continued to watch over him, deep in the young boy's mind, he found himself awakening in a familiar dark place as a cage appeared before him. Hey brat, get up, the menacing nine-tailed fox demanded. Huh, what the hell do you want, stupid fox? Naruto replied. You failed to defeat your opponent even after I gave you my power. Why? The demon asked the boy. I'm not like you, I don't fight to kill. Naruto told the towering demon. But you lost the fight and almost got us both killed. The demon replied to Naruto. I knew what I was doing, Sasuke, he could have killed me, but he didn't. I think, I may have gotten through to him somewhat. Naruto tried to reason with the fox demon. But you still lost. He didn't return to Konoha. He left you for dead. Kyuubi replied. I just couldn't kill him. He's my best friend. Naruto said to the demon. You're pathetic. You just went and gave your village another reason to hate you. You've lost their precious Uchiha, and they'll curse you for it. The Kyuubi shouted. Sakura-chan, fuzzy brow, I promised, but, I failed them all, everyone, I can't face them ever again, can I? Naruto said as tears started to form in his eyes. Enough. Don't start crying brat, now you must face your mistakes and grow stronger. Kyuubi said to the boy. My way of the ninja, to never take back my words, it's been broken, Naruto replied still with a depressed voice. Don't start with this nonsense brat. Kyuubi demanded. Huh, what do you mean? Naruto asked looking confused. All that this means is that you must make a new way for yourself. The demon replied. Like how? Naruto asked still looking bewildered. Must I do everything for you brat? Very well, to never break your promises again, and to never take back your words. That is your way. How does that sound kid? The Kyuubi said to the boy. Kyuubi, you're a genius. I really like that, Naruto replied seemingly out of his depressed state. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Naturally brat, I am one of the most powerful demons to have ever existed. Of course I'm not a fool like you. The demon replied with a smug look on his face. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Why are helping me anyway? Naruto asked the demon. I suppose, it's something to do. Now it's time for you to go back, I can hear someone calling you, the demon told the boy. What? I can't hear anything, Naruto said looking confused again. That's because you won't shut up. Now quiet and listen. The fox told the boy get him to concentrate instead of talk. Sure enough as Naruto focused, he could hear someone calling him. The voice was female. She sounded very shy and unsure of herself. Naruto-kun, please wake up. Please return to your friends, and please, return to me, the voice said. Who is that? It sounds familiar. Naruto pondered as he tried to figure out whose voice it was that was speaking to him. Naruto-kun, Sakura-san, Shikamaru-san, Jiraiya-sama, and Godime Hokage-sama have all been in to check on you. Not just them, Kakashi-sensei and Iruka-sensei, even that nice man from the ramen shop has been by to see you. So many people want you back, and so do I, Naruto-kun, why you give me the strength and the courage to continue trying to change myself. Your strength was even enough to change Neji-ni-san. So please, the voice trailed off as it seemed like the voice was beginning to cry. Neji-ni-san. Who calls him that? Is that Hinata? Hinata's there by my side. Why? Why would she be there? Naruto questioned, looking rather puzzled. You really are an idiot, aren't you boy? It's obvious that the human girl likes you. Are you that much of a moron that you can't see her feelings? The Kyuubi asked. Shut up. Naruto replied. It is time for you to go back to them. The land of the living awaits you. Kyuubi told the boy. Okay. I think I'm ready now, Naruto said to the demon. With that being said, Naruto's unconscious form began to awaken. Was that all just a dream? Am I really back? Naruto asked no one in particular as he began to open his eyes. Naruto-kun. Hinata exclaimed in shock at the blonde. You're awake. I've got to get Godime-sama, she said as she stumbled as she tried to leave the room. Hinata. Please wait, Naruto managed to say, stopping the Hyuga girl in her tracks. What is it, Naruto-kun? Hinata turned to him and asked. Thank you for what you said. I always knew you were a really good person. I just never realized just how great of a person you truly are, Naruto managed to say, causing the shy Hyuga to blush. What are you talking about, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. I could hear what you were saying, and that was the reason I'm awake now. So thank you, Naruto said. Sure, but I must go inform the Hokage-sama that you've awakened, she wanted to know as soon as you were awake. Please excuse me, Hinata said as she raced out the room. Her face was still burning a bright red. Wow, she's really cute when she blushes. I can't believe I didn't notice her before, Naruto said as he waited for the Hyuga girl to return. Several minutes passed and Hinata finally returned with Tsunade and Jiraiya following behind her. Hey, Naruto, you're finally awake, huh? The Gamma Sennin said to his pupil. Ah, Arrow Sennin, what are you doing here? Naruto rudely asked his sensei. Jiraiya sighed deeply. Naruto, is that really the first thing you could think to say to me? Calling me Arrow Sennin? Jiraiya asked in a depressed voice. Yeah, it sure is Arrow Sennin. Naruto began but was cut off as Tsunade suddenly embraced him. You had me worried sick. Tsunade managed to say as tears lightly fell from her face. Tsunade Obaken. Naruto started but was interrupted again, this time by Tsunade's fist hitting the top of his head. Baka. Tsunade yelled. Ouch. What the hell? I'm injured here. Naruto yelled back. You mustn't be all that hurt if you can call me an old lady, Tsunade said with a snarl. Anyway, it seems that you're fine now. Your wounds have healed, and your chakra level has returned to normal, Tsunade added. Tsunade Obaken. I'm sorry, I failed, Naruto said as his cheerful mood turned dark and a sad expression spread across his face. Naruto, you did your best. Sasuke, he has chosen his path. He's gone now. Naruto, when you're ready you may leave the hospital. Take a day or two off to fully recover. We'll go from there. I've got a lot of things that I must take care of. Jiraiya, some of which involves you, so please come back with me to my office, Tsunade said, turning to face her former teammate. Yeah, I'm coming, Tsunade, Jiraiya nodded and then turned to Naruto. Hehe, I'll leave you with your girlfriend then. See you later, Naruto. Jiraiya and Tsunade left as Naruto began to yell. Baka. Arrow Sennin. Naruto yelled, while Hinata just stood there, her face turning so red that Naruto could swear she resembled a ripe tomato. Hinata. Don't listen to Arrow Sennin. Anyway, I hate hospitals. I'm also really hungry. I'm going to go get some ramen. Want to come with me? Naruto asked as he got up out of bed. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, I can't today. Father wants me home soon, Hinata sadly replied. Oh well, how about tomorrow? We can go on a date, Naruto asked almost without thinking, making Hinata blush yet again. What? A date? Hinata exclaimed in shock. Yes, if that's alright with you, Naruto trailed off, waiting for Hinata's reply. Sure, I'd really I'd really like that, Hinata said, blushing as Naruto began to leave. Well then see you. I'm going to go find Iruka-sensei and get him to treat me, Naruto said, racing out the door. Naruto-kun and I, on a date, this has to be a dream, the Hyuga girl said still standing in shock. Oh no, I must hurry home, father will be angry, Hinata said as she finally snapped out of her trance. The rain started out of nowhere, pouring, almost unsettling. You're absolutely worthless. How could you have lost to your sister again? The head of the main family said as yelled and belittled his eldest daughter, Hinata because of her loss to Hanabi, her younger sister again. You're an embarrassment to the Hyuga name. Hiashi continued to scold the girl. I'm sorry father, I'll try harder next time, Hinata said as she tried to calm him down. Next time. It's always next time with you. You're pathetic. Hiyashi continued the verbal onslaught on his daughter. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Please, father, I. Hinata tried to speak but was suddenly interrupted with a hand coming down hard across her face. She looked up at her father in shock as her cheek reddened and tears began to pour down from her face. You're worthless. Get out. You're no longer welcome here. Leave now. Hiyashi screamed as the confused young girl ran out of the Hyuga manor and out into the pouring rain. After running for what seemed like forever to the young girl, she finally began to slow down, and then eventually came to a stop. The tears continued to pour like the rain from the sky as she wandered the streets of Konoha. Meanwhile, a certain loudmouth, blonde was at his favorite place, consuming his 18th bowl of ramen. Yummy. Ramen. I love you. Yummy. Ramen. I love you. Naruto sang happily as slurped down another bowl. 15 minutes later, and another 10 bowls, Naruto had finally decided he was finished. That was really good, Naruto said as he paid for his meal and began to leave the shop. Damn, it's really raining hard. This really is, Naruto said as he began to run home trying to keep as dry as possible until he suddenly bumped into someone and they both fell to the ground. Ouch, that hurt. Sorry about that, I wasn't looking where I was, Naruto started to say as he realized just who he had bumped into. Oh, I'm sorry Hinata. Naruto then noticed Hinata looked as if she had been crying, deeply agonizing over something. Naruto tried to help the girl to her feet. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Hinata. Come on, we're getting soaked. What's wrong? Naruto asked with great concern. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Did something happen with? Naruto was suddenly cut off as Hinata fell into his arms. He caught the girl out of instinct and then realized that she had just passed out. Oh damn, this isn't good at all. What the hell do I do? Well, it's too late to take her home besides, something may have happened there. I guess I got no choice but to bring her back to my place, Naruto said as he lifted the girl up and into his arms better and began to run back to his apartment. I wonder what happened to her. I hope she'll be alright. Naruto arrived at his apartment and quickly opened the door and went inside, where he immediately ran over to his bed and gently placed Hinata onto it. Damn, our clothes are totally soaked. I'd better get the heater out to try and warm us up before we get sick, Naruto said as he headed over to a closet and pulled out a small heater, which he quickly plugged in and turned on. By then Hinata had finally began to stir. Upon hearing the girl start to awaken, Naruto quickly rushed back over to her. I must have passed out. Where am I? Hinata questioned as she started to examine her surroundings. Hey Hinata, are you alright? Naruto asked looking down upon the girl. Naruto-kun, Hinata said in shock as she almost jumped into an upright position. I'm sorry Naruto-kun. Hinata started, but was interrupted by Naruto who tossed her a towel and a very long t-shirt and a pair of his boxer shorts. I'm sorry Hinata, it's all I got, but please go take a shower, and it should help warm you up. You'll catch a cold if you stay in those wet clothes. I can lay your wet clothes out to dry in front of the heater, Naruto said to the girl. Naruto-kun, I don't want to burden you, Hinata said as Naruto cut her off again. Hinata, please, I don't want you to get sick. Hey, think of it as payment. You looked after me while I was in the hospital. Now it's my turn, Naruto said giving her his normal fox-like grin. Yes Naruto-kun, thank you, Hinata said as she headed into the bathroom and closed the door behind her. She began to disrobe after which she turned on the shower. A minute later she began her shower. Meanwhile Naruto began to heat some food up on his stove. I hope she'll be alright, maybe some ramen will help her a little. It always helps me, Naruto pondered. Meanwhile, Hinata enjoyed the feel of the hot water washing over her, yet at the same time she felt overwhelmed over all of today's events. I can't believe I'm in Naruto-kun's apartment, much less taking a shower in his shower. It's been a really crazy day. Father, banished me from my own home. I don't know what I'm going to do. But Naruto-kun, he's been so kind. I really hope this isn't a dream, Hinata thought to herself as she finally finished her shower and then dressed in what Naruto gave her. The shirt was indeed long, it ran all the way down to her knees. She wondered where Naruto had gotten the shirt from at first. But she soon shrugged it off as she emerged from the bathroom, her wet clothes neatly folded in hand. Naruto-kun, where should I place my wet clothes? Hinata asked as she emerged from the bathroom. Naruto looked up at Hinata and the sight of the girl immediately caused the boy to blush. It was then that Naruto realized that he had never really been this close to a girl before, much less having a girl in his apartment. Naruto-kun, Hinata asked again, interrupting Naruto's thoughts. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Oh, you can just set them in front of the heater. I made us some ramen. I'm sorry, but it's only instant, but it should help warm you up a little more, Naruto said as he walked over to the shy girl and handed her a cup of the freshly prepared ramen as she finished placing her wet garments by the heater to dry. Thank you, Naruto-kun, you're so kind, Hinata responded to Naruto's treatment. It's no problem, Naruto replied as he slurped down his cup of ramen. I'm going to go grab a shower myself now, you can just relax a bit. You can't really go anywhere until your clothes dry anyway, right? Naruto said as he grabbed a change of clothes and headed toward the bathroom. Yes, even though it's not like I have anywhere to go anymore, Hinata sadly responded. What do you mean, Hinata? Naruto asked, looking quite puzzled. Oh, sorry, it was nothing, Naruto-kun, Hinata replied. That didn't sound like nothing. I'm going to take my shower, and then we'll talk, Naruto told the girl rather firmly as he closed the door and began his shower. Several minutes later, the blonde emerged from the bathroom wearing a white t-shirt and a pair of black shorts. The boy then took a seat right beside Hinata on the floor next to the heater. Alright, Hinata, what happened? Naruto firmly asked the Hyuga girl. Hinata started to talk but quickly stopped and then became very silent as if she was trying to gather her words. This silence continued for several minutes until Naruto got tired of it and spoke up. Hinata, I can't help you if you don't tell me what's wrong, Naruto calmly said to the Hyuga girl. Naruto then noticed the tears starting to fall from Hinata's face. Hinata, why are you crying? Please tell me what's wrong. Did someone hurt you? If they did, I'll beat the crap out of them, Naruto said fiercely, looking on at the girl with concern. Father, he had me fight my sister Hanabi again, Hinata started as Naruto listened intently to the girl. I lost again. She's 5 years younger than I am, yet she always beats me. Father was very upset. He lost it and then he slapped me, and told me to get out. I am no longer welcomed in my own home, he has disowned me, Hinata finished and was now crying heavily. Naruto gently pulled her into an embrace, which caused her to look up at the boy and blush as she realized Naruto was holding her. Naruto-kun, Hinata started to say something but was interrupted as tears hid her face. She was shocked to see tears in Naruto's eyes. I'm sorry, Hinata. It must be hard for you. I know the feeling, I know what it's like not to be accepted. I've known that feeling for far too long, Naruto said, wiping the tears from his face. Naruto-kun, Hinata still looked on in shock as Naruto turned from sad to angry. Hinata, let's go, Naruto said, rising to his feet, pulling Hinata up as well. Go, Naruto-kun. Go where? Hinata wondered. Let's go see your father. I'm going to kick his, Naruto said with an angry grin on his face. Naruto-kun, what are you talking about? Why you can't go up against my father? I may screw up and I know it, but I can't let you get hurt because of me, Hinata said as she tried to calm the blonde down. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. That is exactly why we're going. You're not a screw up, you're doing your best to change and get stronger, and that bastard of a father of yours just can't see that, Naruto said as he tossed the girl his freshly dried off jacket. Put that on and let's go. If you don't want to come, fine, but I'm going and I don't know the way, so unless you want me to wander Konoha all night screaming for your father, I'd suggest you come with me. Your father is going to learn the hard way that you don't treat people like they're losers, especially not your own child. Naruto said as he headed toward the door. Hinata reluctantly followed. Naruto dragged Hinata along as they headed toward the Hyuga manor. Naruto immediately kicked down the door and ran into the estate, as several people appeared to see what the commotion was about. It's you, the monster. What the hell are you doing here at the Hyuga estate? Scum like you doesn't have any business here. One of the men said as he readied himself to attack. Get that bastard out here. The guy in charge of this place, Hinata's dad. I'm going to kick his sorry, Naruto yelled, as Hiashi himself came out to see what the commotion was. What's this racket all about? Hyuga Hiashi said, appearing. He immediately noticed Hinata, and of course the loud, blonde ninja, busting up his home. Hinata, how dare you show your face here? And you bring him of all people? Hiashi screamed again at his daughter, which caused her to flinch. Shut up, you bastard. Don't ever talk to Hinata-chan like that again. Naruto screamed back, which caused everyone to look on in shock. What did he just say? Hinata-chan. He just called me Hinata-chan. Hinata blushed as she thought to herself. How dare you speak to me in such a manner, and in my own home no less? Hiashi yelled at the blonde. Monsters like you shouldn't be allowed to wander around freely. Hiashi harshly added. That's it. I'm so kicking your. Naruto yelled back at the head Hyuga. You defeat me. That's laughable. I'm not as weak as Neji. Even if he is extremely gifted, I'm much stronger. No, you could never stand a chance, Hiashi snickered. Oh yeah, we'll just see about that. Naruto said back to the Hyuga. Very well, defeat me if you can. It's time someone put you in your place. You should feel lucky a monster like you is even allowed to exist, Hiashi added as he got in the familiar Hyuga stance. Why does he keep saying that about Naruto-kun? Hinata said to herself. No, Naruto-kun, don't. Hinata said as she once again tried to convince Naruto to not challenge her father. Hinata-chan, it's alright. I will win, Naruto said, putting his fist out like he did when he vowed he'd defeat Neji. Come then, boy, Hiashi said, signaling the start of the battle. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto yelled as 6 clones appeared and attacked Hiashi. Don't bore me. If this didn't work on Neji, it certainly won't work on me, Hiashi yelled as he quickly took out the clones. Damn it. Just as I thought, Naruto said aloud, as he performed his jutsu again. This time, 15 clones appeared. Alright, let's go, guys. Naruto shouted as all the clones attacked at once. Fool, Hiashi said. Kaden. Hiashi yelled as he began his whirl as the Bunshins collided and were quickly destroyed and Naruto was thrown back. Damn it, Naruto managed to say as Hiashi raced up to meet the boy. It's over, Hiashi said, slamming his palms into Naruto's chest as he flew back and tumbled over, lying unconscious on the ground in front of Hinata. Hiashi looked up and began to smile. See, you could never defeat me. Hiashi's smile disappeared quickly, however. What? Hiashi managed to say as the Naruto on the ground disappeared in a puff of smoke. What, that was another Bunshin? Hiashi managed to yell as Naruto jumped down behind Hiashi from the roof where he had hid. Naruto managed to land a punch to Hiashi's gut, but not before Hiashi spun around and struck Naruto in several spots in his chest. Hiashi was pushed back, but Naruto coughed up some blood. But Naruto didn't stop. He pulled out a kunai from his weapon pouch and flung it at Hiashi, who smirked and simply sidestepped the kunai as he raced in at Naruto with another attack. Here's another attack, I'm sure you remember nicely, Hiashi said as he attacked. Hakusho. Rokuju Yansho. Hiashi yelled as he performed the move that Neji used on Naruto in the Chunin exam. Naruto coughed up more blood as he dropped to the ground. There, now it's done. I don't know how you seriously managed to defeat Neji, but I knew you were no match for me. Hiashi's statement was interrupted as Naruto stood up with a smile on his face. What's so funny? Hiashi asked as he began to get quite annoyed. That's twice you've wasted an attack, Naruto said with a smirk on his face. What do you mean? Hiashi said in shock as the Naruto standing before him disappeared once again. That's impossible, another Bunshin. Hiashi said as he heard the sounds of a jutsu begin released behind him. The kunai Naruto had thrown transformed back into Naruto himself. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto shouted as 5 more Narutos appeared and they all charged. No way. He used Henge in combination with his Kage Bunshin. Hiashi shouted as the Narutos surrounded him. Yuzu Ma Ki. The 4 clones said, kicking Hiashi into the air, as Naruto flipped into the air off the back of one of the Bunshins. The Naruto in the air quickly formed a familiar blue ball in his hands. I can't believe I underestimated the boy, Hiashi said, as he looked up to see what Naruto was doing next. Impossible that jutsu is. Hiashi couldn't finish his sentence as the attack hit Hiashi in the chest as he screamed, while the chakra ball burned through his robes. Naruto Rasengan Renden. Naruto finished as all the Bunshins disappeared and Hiashi crashed to the floor hard and Naruto did as well, breathing heavily as he landed. Many of the servants who viewed the fight raced over to take care of Hiashi. Hiashi-sama. The servants yelled. 2 of them helped Hiashi to his feet as he looked up at the boy. Why you? Hiashi began. Fine. Take her, I'll never bother her again. But you should also stay away. You win. Come back for her things and then be gone from my life forever. Hinata. You are never to come back here. I want nothing to do with you, Hiashi finished. Don't worry. She won't be back, ever. I'll get her stuff tomorrow, Naruto began to yell. But listen here, if you ever come near Hinata-chan again, make her cry, or anything else, I'll kill you. Come on Hinata-chan, Naruto said as he walked toward Hinata and then turned toward the door. Damn it, I lost to the monster, Hiashi said forgetting Naruto was still in the room. Hey, Naruto yelled turning to face Hiashi again. Say what you will about me. But be warned. As I just said, you ever come near Hinata-chan again and I will kill you. Naruto yelled leaving Hiashi in shock as he witnessed Naruto's normally beautiful blue eyes turn a dark, evil crimson that belonged to the Kyuubi for a brief moment and then return to normal. You know, you're a pathetic and worthless father. Meeting a guy like you, I'm almost glad I don't have parents, because if they were anything like you, I'd want nothing to do with them, Naruto finished as he and Hinata headed out the door. Strangely enough, the rain had stopped. Naruto-kun. Hinata began to speak but was interrupted by Naruto. I'm sorry Hinata-chan, I really screwed it up for you. But if you can stand me, you're more than welcome to stay with me, Naruto finished as a blush spread across his cheeks. Yes, I accept if you're really willing to have me, Hinata smiled returning the blush as the two headed off back toward Naruto's apartment. Several days have now passed since the incident at the Hyuga compound and since Naruto and Hinata officially started living together. All the recent events from the Chunin exam all the way to the Sasuke fiasco had left Tsunade with many problems to deal with. But her newest problem seems to be with her former teammate Jiraiya as they sat in Tsunade's office. The 5th Hokage was trying to bargain with her perverted former teammate. Come on Jiraiya, please just listen to me. Tsunade pleaded with her stubborn comrade. No way, I'm not doing it. Damn it, I'm a Sannin. A legendary shinobi. I'm way past this, and you can't make me. Jiraiya yelled in protest. Come on Jiraiya, what the hell is the problem? You were going to take Naruto as your full-time apprentice anyway. So I don't see what the hell the big deal is. Tsunade said as she continued to try and reason with her former teammate. I said no, and I mean no. I won't do it, Jiraiya firmly proclaimed. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Come on, do this as a favor to the village, and for me, Tsunade pleaded. You want me to do you a favor? Jiraiya said as he began to grin. Well then you have to do me a favor as well. Agree to go on a date with me, Jiraiya said with a snicker. Jiraiya, if you don't do this. Tsunade began looking rather annoyed. Then everything that makes you a man, I'll be sure to painfully remove. Tsunade finished as she noticed her teammates' face turning blue. Tsunade. Why you wouldn't? Would you? Jiraiya asked, looking on rather concerned. Don't tempt me, Jiraiya. Now, you'll do what I ask, won't you? Tsunade asked again. Jiraiya merely nodded quietly in agreement, his face still looking quite pale. Good. Now get out of here. I'll need you back here early tomorrow with the rest of them, Tsunade said as she dismissed her fellow Sannin. Yes, yes, you evil bitch, Jiraiya mumbled. What was that? Tsunade asked. It's nothing. I said damn, this is quite the itch, Jiraiya said, faking it, scratching his back as he went about exiting out of Tsunade's office in quite the hurry. Good. Now all I have to do is put the teams together, and then I can send the messengers to inform the genin, Tsunade said as she sat back down at her desk, going over the genin files. The first file she picked up happened to be the pink-haired genin from Kakashi's Team 7. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Let's see here. Sakura would benefit more to continue her genjutsu training. Kurenai, it seems, is able to handle the Hyugas pretty well, so that helps a bit. Hinata. Well, she likes Naruto, so maybe they'll benefit from being teamed together. Damn it, so many decisions. I need a drink badly. Tsunade continued to study the genin files in hopes of putting together new teams. Meanwhile, in Naruto's apartment, the loud blonde and the shy Hyuga enjoyed their break from their ninja duties. Naruto-kun, when do you think we'll resume missions again? Hinata asked. I don't know, hopefully soon. I need to get stronger. I hope Tsunade Obaken will make up her mind about this crap soon, Naruto answered. I'm a little concerned. Didn't Hokage-sama say something about reorganizing the teams? Hinata asked again. Did she? Who knows, maybe it'll be cool. You know, getting new teammates and all, Naruto replied. The two genin continued to talk until there was a sudden knock at the door. Yes, I'm coming already, Naruto said as he got up from his seat and headed to the door. Upon opening the door, Naruto was greeted by the familiar face of the silver-haired, mask-wearing Junin. Yo, Naruto, Kakashi calmly said with a smile creeping through his mask. Hey Kakashi-sensei. What's up? What are you doing here? Naruto shouted. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Naruto, you really don't have to shout, Kakashi said as he also noticed the presence of the shy Hyuga girl. Ah, Hinata-san is here as well. I had heard she was no longer staying at the Hyuga Manor. I just never guessed she'd end up with you though, Kakashi said as he began to ramble. What do you want, sensei? Naruto interrupted. Oh sorry, Tsunade-sama sent me to tell you, and well, I guess Hinata too, that you're to meet at the Hokage Tower at 9 tomorrow morning. All the genin are to assemble there. There'll be new team assignments, Kakashi finished. Oh, awesome, I can't wait, Naruto yelled happily. Well, anyway, I got to run. Be good, Naruto, Kakashi finished with a grin that caused Hinata to blush as he disappeared in a puff of smoke. Be good, what did he mean by that? Naruto wondered as he turned and noticed Hinata blushing. Huh, Hinata-chan, your face is red, do you have a fever? Naruto asked. No, Naruto-kun, it's nothing, Hinata said, shaking her head innocently. Oh good, well let's go get some ramen, I'm hungry, Naruto said, pulling Hinata by the arm. Sure, let's go, Naruto-kun, Hinata said, following Naruto out the door as the two headed to Naruto's second home, as he liked to call it. The day quickly passed and soon enough, it was time for the genin to assemble. Naruto-kun, I'm nervous, Hinata said, turning to the blonde genin. Ah, don't worry Hinata-chan, it'll be fine. Who knows, it might be really cool, Naruto answered. Several minutes later the two arrived and were greeted by some familiar faces. Good morning, Naruto, the pink-haired girl said as she walked over to Naruto and Hinata. Good morning Sakura-chan, Naruto greeted his fellow teammate loudly. Hey, what's up guys? Another genin said, approaching them, his little dog following closely beside him. Ah, hey dog boy, good to see you made it. Naruto yelled. Don't call me dog boy, you moron. Kiba yelled back. Good morning Shino-kun, Hinata said interrupting. As the two boys arguing stopped and turned to see Shino, the two were shocked to see Shino wearing a Chunin vest. What the hell? Naruto and Kiba said at the same time. Why the hell are you wearing a Chunin vest? Naruto asked. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. That's because he's a Chunin now you moron, the lazy Chunin Shikamaru said arriving as he smacked Naruto in the back of the head. Why is he Chunin? Kiba asked. Quote. Shino remained quiet. Shino-kun, congratulations, I'm happy for you, Hinata said to her now former teammate. Good morning Sakura-san. Konoha's beautiful blue beast has arrived. A very excited Lee shouted as he raced up to the group. Blue beast. What part of that ugly green outfit is blue? Naruto thought to himself as he watched the arriving Lee announce his presence. Good morning Lee-san, Sakura nodded. Hello, Ten greeted as she arrived minutes later. Several more minutes passed as Ino, Neji, and Choji arrived and then Asuma, Kurenai, and Guy arrived. Tsunade finally arrived, and now everyone awaited Kakashi's arrival. Damn it, somebody please remind me to demote Kakashi back to a Chunin for making us wait. Tsunade bellowed, looking rather annoyed. The group waited for another hour, when Kakashi finally decided to arrive. Yo, Kakashi said upon arrival. You're late. Tsunade, Naruto, Kiba, Sakura, and Ino yelled all at once. Sorry about that, I was having a hard time deciding what to wear today, Kakashi responded to the annoyed crowd. You liar. Tsunade, Naruto, Kiba, Sakura, and Ino all once again yelled at the Junin who was wearing the same thing he always wore. Anyway, let us get down to business. I have gathered you all here today because I had a few announcements to make. The first being that Aburame Shino has proved himself in countless missions and thus, I felt it necessary to promote him to the ranks of Chunin where he and Nara Shikamaru will be working together on missions for a while, Tsunade told the group. Sigh. This is so troublesome, Shikamaru couldn't help but say. My next announcement, as you all must know, is that I'll be reassigning the teams. With Shikamaru and Shino becoming Chunins and with Uchiha Sasuke abandoning the village, we have a member missing from almost all the teams. But even before I announce the new teams first, I need to announce that I am removing Asuma and Kakashi from taking on another team for a while. I need them both for missions. Now with that said, you two can leave and I can move on with my important announcements, Tsunade said as she turned to the two Junin and then back to the group of Genin. Yes Hokage-sama, I understand, Asuma said and then he took his leave. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Well, see you guys later, Kakashi said waving to Naruto and Sakura as he disappeared. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Alright, now back to the business at hand, Tsunade began. Please let me return to Guy-sensei's team again. Lee said to himself. Ah, please let Lee return to my team. Guy said to himself with tears in his eyes. Alright, now I will announce the new team Guy. Firstly, returning to Guy's team will be Rock Lee, Tsunade stated and then was promptly interrupted by Lee jumping into Guy's arms with tears pouring out of his eyes. Guy-sensei. Lee yelled. Lee. Guy yelled back as the two hugged. This action completely frightened everyone whom cared to watch it. Well, the team will be Rock Lee, Tenten, and Akamichi Choji, Tsunade finished as the team assembled. Lee. This youth-filled team will show who has the greatest passion in all of Konoha. Guy shouted as he shot out his nice guy pose. Yes Guy-sensei, we won't let you down. Lee shouted back also striking his nice guy pose. That's creepy and just plain wrong, Naruto managed to whisper to Hinata and Sakura, which caused them to giggle. Guy, Lee, please shut up so I can continue, Tsunade said to the Junin with an annoyed look on her face. Yes Hokage-sama, Guy shouted. Alright, now for Kurenai's team. Inuzuka Kiba, Haruno Sakura, and Hyuga Neji will be your team. As Tsunade finished announcing the team, the Genin walked over to their sensei. Finally, Yamanaka Ino, Hyuga Hinata, and Uzumaki Naruto, you make up the final team, Tsunade finished. Hokage-sama, where's our new sensei? Ino asked. He'll be here shortly. Tsunade started but was interrupted as smoke appeared out of nowhere and a voice started to shout. I have arrived. Mount Myoboku Gamma's holy master Sennin. They call me the Gamma Sennin, I am Jiraiya-sama. The loud Sannin yelled appearing out of the smoke. Ah! Arrow Sennin. Naruto shouted. Damn it! Naruto. Jiraiya said in a depressed voice. Baka! 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 Jiraiya began to shout. How many times do I have to tell you, especially in front of others, don't call me Arrow Sennin, call me Gamma Sennin, or Jiraiya, damn it. Jiraiya shouted at his student. Oh, Arrow Sennin, Naruto replied in an unimpressed voice. Gamma, 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 Gamma. Jiraiya began to yell. Arrow, 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 Arrow. Naruto yelled back. Gamma, 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 Gamma. Jiraiya continued to yell. Arrow, 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 Arrow. Naruto continued to yell back. Naruto. Jiraiya. Tsunade tried to interrupt. Gamma, 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 Gamma. Jiraiya continued to yell, ignoring Tsunade. Arrow, 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 Arrow. Naruto did the same. Naruto. Jiraiya. Tsunade yelled. Shut up, you old hag. Naruto and Jiraiya turned and shouted at the woman in unison. The two realized immediately what they had done as they looked on in horror as Tsunade cracked her knuckles with an evil look on her face. Naruto. Jiraiya. Just die. Tsunade yelled as she clobbered the two so hard that they slammed into the wall, denting it with their bodies, as smoke started to come off their battered bodies. Ji ga ma se nnin. Jiraiya said, falling to the ground. E arrow se nnin. Naruto said, also falling to the ground. You dumb asses. Tsunade yelled. Hokage-sama. Sakura began trying to interrupt before further carnage could ensue. Yes, Sakura-chan. Tsunade responded. Is that really Jiraiya-sama, of the legendary three? Sakura couldn't help but ask, looking on in shock as were the rest of the genin. Sigh. The moron on the ground is indeed one of the three, like me and Orochimaru, Tsunade answered. Then why is he acting like a Junin instructor and taking on a team? Neji interrupted. Well, to be honest, Naruto is Jiraiya's apprentice anyway, and I was going to take Naruto out of the teams and place him directly under Jiraiya's care. But with Sasuke leaving, and the village severely hurting, I need Naruto for missions. So I decided the easiest route was to place Naruto on a new team and let Jiraiya supervise and train them, Tsunade finished. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, another young blonde-haired genin interrupted, another boy wearing makeup, and another boy with a gourd on his back followed her. They were wearing sand head protectors. Ah, the three of you from sand came, that's good, Tsunade said, approaching the three. The last announcement is that as of now, these three from Hidden Sand will be staying here in Konoha, Tsunade told the group, causing almost everyone to gasp. You see, the new Cage wanted to make peace by sending us three of his best, and so he sent us these three to help with missions until we can fully recover, Tsunade continued to explain to the group. Even though there is no doubt he sent them because he was scared of Gaara, Tsunade said to herself, looking over at the red-haired genin. Anyway, I want you all to go out with your new teams and get to know each other, train, etc., Tsunade said. Ino-chan, Hinata-chan, you may want to wake the two morons, Tsunade finished as she left. Kurenai's team and Guy's team followed shortly after. Sigh. Why'd I get stuck with Naruto? Ino said, looking down at her new teammate. Naruto-kun, please get up now, Hinata shyly said, trying to wake the boy. Hinata-chan, did you get the number of that truck that hit me? Naruto asked in a daze as he awoke. Several minutes later, the team recovered and started to leave. Gaara quickly stopped Naruto from leaving. Uzumaki Naruto. Gaara said, getting the blonde's attention. Huh, Gaara. You want something? Naruto cheerfully looked over at the redhead. Me and you. We must talk. Gaara muttered. Huh. Your conversation skills need to be improved, Naruto said, looking straight at the Sand Genin. I would like for us to talk later, Gaara finally said. Sure. How about tomorrow morning we meet for ramen? Naruto suggested. Ramen. Gaara managed to say. What's ramen? Gaara wondered. What? Naruto screamed. Why, you don't know what ramen is? Naruto screamed again as Gaara merely shook his head. No. It's only the greatest food in the world. Naruto screamed again. Oh, fine, tomorrow morning, we'll meet for ramen, Gaara said as he and his team left. Man, he needs to learn to be livelier, Naruto said as he ran to rejoin his team. The team led by Jiraiya headed out to Naruto's familiar training spot. It was the same place Team 7 had first trained, and was also a place Hinata visited often. Alright, I'm a little rusty at leading a whole team of 3, so bear with me, the Sannin told the group. Ah, Arrow Sannin. Naruto started but immediately got a nod on his head from Jiraiya. Jiraiya, it's Jiraiya, damn you, an annoyed Jiraiya said. Jiraiya-sama, what are we doing here? Ino asked. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Ah, yeah, well, as I'm sure Naruto already knows since Kakashi was his sensei, I'm going to have to all introduce yourselves to me and your team. I need to know what I'm dealing with here. So tell me your name, likes and dislikes, hobbies, and crap like that. Hell, I'll even go first, Jiraiya started. I am Jiraiya of the legendary Sannin, you may call me Jiraiya-sensei, Jiraiya-sama, or Gama-senin. But please do not ever call me Arrow-senin. My likes are gather materials and information, Jiraiya said with a snicker. He means being a pervert, Naruto interrupted. I don't like boring people, Jiraiya added. He means he doesn't like not being able to be a pervert, Naruto interrupted again. My hobbies are writing my books, Jiraiya finished. Again, he means writing his dirty books that only perverts like himself or Kakashi-sensei would enjoy, Naruto said, once again interrupting and once again getting a rather large knot on his head. Anyway, Jiraiya continued. You tell me your story, Jiraiya said, pointing over to blonde, female, Genin. I'm Yamanaka Ino, my likes are mainly boys, and I like to gossip as well. My dislikes are annoying, ugly people like forehead girl Sakura, or dumb asses like Naruto, Ino answered. My hobbies, well, boys of course. My goals are to prove I'm the greatest, and the prettiest female ninja in all of Konoha, Ino finished feeling quite accomplished. I see. You're next, Jiraiya said, pointing over at the shy Hyuga girl. My name is Hyuga Hinata. I'm not really sure of my likes. My dislikes are people who treat others unfairly, and judge people before they truly know that person. My hobbies are reading, and cooking. I'm also interested in learning more about medicines to heal wounds. My goal or dream is to change myself. I want to become strong and confident. I also want to learn how not to burden everyone anymore, Hinata finished. I see. You need to work on your confidence. Now, let's move on to the dumb, Jiraiya said, looking over at Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto. I like ramen, and more ramen. I dislike people who look down on others. My dream is to one day become Hokage and to have everyone acknowledge my existence. Also, I always want to fulfill my way of the ninja. To never break my promises again and to never take back my words. That's my way of the ninja now, Naruto finished, flashing his fox-like grin to his team. Maybe he isn't so bad after all, Ino thought herself. Naruto-kun, you truly are amazing, Hinata also thought to herself. Alright, this is a pretty interesting team, Jiraiya started. Now, I'd like to see what you're capable of. Tell me, or show me your jutsus, and your abilities, Jiraiya said. But Jiraiya-sensei, should we really reveal our techniques to you so easily? Ino wondered. Yes, I need to know what you can do, that way I can judge on how to better teach you. This goes especially to you and the Hyuga girl, Jiraiya said, pointing at the two girls. How would you like to show your clans how good you are with your own techniques, but also shock them with new material? There really is no reason why you should limit yourself to just learning moves from within your clans. If you've got the will and the chakra control, I can teach you many techniques to either aid or improve your abilities, Jiraiya claimed. Now show me what you got, Jiraiya finished. I really don't know anything other than my clan's techniques, the Jukin form. I don't even know high-level techniques like Neji Ni-san, Hinata sadly stated. Ah, well, don't worry, we're going to change all that, Jiraiya added. Well, unfortunately, same goes for me. My only real abilities are my family's Shintenshin no Jutsu, Ino also sadly stated. Again, don't worry, I'm sure I can teach you two a lot. Also, I want you to try and master more techniques from your respective clans as well as learn the stuff I teach you. Just think, you'll be some of the first members of your clans to use techniques that don't just belong to your clan. I'm going to make you two improve a lot, Jiraiya said with a confident smile. Alright, it's my turn, Naruto happily said. Let's see, I know Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, and of course my Uzumaki Naruto Renden. But I also got two very cool techniques I learned from Arrow Sennin here, Naruto said. Watch, I'll show you, Naruto stated as he held out his right hand. Naruto focused his chakra as a bright blue ball emerged into his palm as he ran toward a tree. Rasengan. Naruto yelled as he struck the tree with the attack, causing the tree blow up from the force of the attack. Naruto-kun, that's amazing, Hinata managed to stutter out. Yeah, I know, Naruto says with a grin. But that's not all, Naruto said as he bit his finger and performed several hand seals. Kuchio's number jutsu, Naruto yelled as he slammed his hand down on the ground. Clouds of smoke appeared and out from it, a familiar little red frog. Ah, damn it, I hate all you damn frogs. Naruto yelled. Oh, it's you, I'm not in the mood to play today, the frog said and then suddenly disappeared just how he came. Naruto's eye twitched in showing his annoyed expression. Jiraiya did the same. Naruto, you still can't control it yet, can you? Jiraiya asked. Naruto started but simply shook his head as he rubbed the back of his head. Sigh. Anyway, I think that does it. I can from here devise a decent training ritual for you guys and thus you should be able to improve in no time. But for now, I've got to gather some materials so you all can leave. Jiraiya turned to leave, getting a nod on his head from Naruto. Ah, Arrow Sennin, train us. Stop trying to go off peeking in the hot springs. Naruto screamed. Naruto. Jiraiya started. Hinata. Ino, you two may leave. Naruto, I need to talk to you however, Jiraiya said looking rather serious. Meet here tomorrow by 10. Don't be late, Jiraiya finished. Yes, sensei. Ino cheerfully said as she skipped off. Hinata silently left as well. Arrow Sennin, what did you want me to stay behind for? Naruto curiously asked. Naruto, this might be hard for you. But after talking with Tsunade, we both agree that we think it's finally time. We think you should tell your new teammates about the Kyuubi, Jiraiya said looking rather serious. Naruto face turned sad. But, why? It's supposed to be a secret, right? A law the old man made. Naruto said. I'm not going to push on the subject, but you need to tell them. Think about it, nothing has changed. The Akatsuki are still after you. They want the Kyuubi. Your teammates have the right to know why they're going to be in extreme danger every time they go, even on the simplest missions, Jiraiya said looking over at the blonde. I can't. What if they hate me? Hinata likes me. What if this makes her fear me, or even worse, what if she hates me? Naruto said as tears started to form. Naruto. Tsunade and I aren't trying to make you suffer. You're right, they could fear you, and they could hate you. But, what if they accept you? What if they understand? Do you realize the weight that would be lifted off your shoulders? Jiraiya stated as he turned to leave. Just go home and think about it. Talk with that Gaara kid, he's experienced the same type of life as you. Just seriously think about it, Naruto. I think it would be for the best in the long run, Jiraiya finished as he walked off to leave Naruto with his thoughts. Tell them about the Kyuubi, huh? The blonde said. How could anyone accept me knowing a monster that almost destroyed the villages living inside me? Naruto stated as he slowly began to head in the direction of his apartment. Later that night, Gaara sat on the roof of the apartment complex he and his siblings were staying at. As usual, he chose not to sleep. It's a full moon. Ever since his fight with Naruto, he has started to gain more control and is able to sleep, but on the nights of the full moon, Gaara chose not to sleep, because those nights seemed to give his demon strength. Now he sat contemplating his meeting with the blonde genin that dealt him his first defeat. He reflected on everything that happened between them. Flashback. Naruto and Gaara had collapsed from their fight. Naruto began to drag himself over to Gaara. That guy, he's dragging himself over here, Gaara said watching Naruto. My existence won't be put out. Gaara added. Don't come any closer. Gaara shouted over at Naruto. Being alone. Being incomplete. Naruto began to say. What you must feel. What your pain must be. I understand that, Naruto said looking up with deep sorrow in his eyes. But, for the people who are precious to me, to be able to. The people that is precious to me. If you are hurting them. Naruto began to say, his eyes started to fill with sorrow and anger. And if you're trying to kill them, I will stop you, Naruto said. What? Until now, for the sake of other people, you've. Gaara started staring at the blonde in shock. Because they rescued me from the hell of being alone. They acknowledged my existence. That's why they're all the most important. Naruto interrupted. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Needing those who are close to you, an affectionate heart that gives all of it for those important people, and is watching over them. Gaara remembered the words of his caretaker from when he was younger. Love. That's why this guy is strong, Gaara realized. Flashback ends. Uzumaki Naruto. The one who proved love is what makes you strong, Gaara calmly said, thinking of the meeting that will soon occur. Meanwhile, Naruto is sitting up against the bed. He gazed for a moment on the sleeping Hinata. He smiled gently and then turned to his own thoughts. Sabaku number Gaara. He's like me. We both had it rough. We know the hell of being alone, Naruto quietly said, reflecting on events. Naruto's thoughts were interrupted from within. The Kyuubi began to speak to the boy. Brat, can't sleep? The demon asked. No, I don't know why, but I'm a little nervous about talking with Gaara tomorrow. I mean, it's not like he's still the guy he was before the Chunin exam, so why am I so nervous? Naruto asked aloud. You're going to be talking to someone who lived like you did. Yet he had a different outlook than you. You're afraid that you won't be able to talk to him. Even though you want to be his friend. Kyuubi replied. Yeah, that's right. Then there is also what Ero Sennin said. Naruto said. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. You mean about revealing your secret to your friends and teammates? Kyuubi asked. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Yes. I mean, I really like Hinata-chan. What if she hates me? I've never been too friendly with Ino, but I don't hate her. Sakura-chan also deserves to know as well. I don't really know what to do. Hey, why are you talking with me like this? Hell, I didn't know you could talk to me without me being unconscious, Naruto asked. The fight with the Uchiha boy. The seal tore a little. Before you start to worry, no, it won't break. But now I can speak to you. Don't worry, I won't do anything. I'm not like the sand demon, and as for why, as I've stated before, it's something to do, I suppose. Kyuubi replied. Oh, I see. Naruto mumbled. I doubt this girl will hate you. As for the others, if they hate you for this, something, that wasn't your choice, then it goes to show you that Konoha isn't such a great place after all. With people after you, and after my power, the more allies you have, the better off we'll both be. Kyuubi told his host. I guess so. Naruto replied. Enough worrying. Get some rest, brat. Kyuubi told the boy. Right. Naruto muttered a reply. Naruto finally got to sleep. Several hours later he awoke. He took a shower and got dressed and then turned toward the sleeping Hyuga girl. I got the alarm set, she'll be fine. No need to wake her, Naruto said as he started out the door and headed off toward Ichiraku, the ramen shop. When Naruto arrived, he found Gaara sitting, surprisingly without his giant gourd. Also sitting down were his two siblings, and teammates. Good morning, Naruto said with a slight grin. Gaara and Kankuro nodded. Good morning, Temari said, greeting Naruto as he took a seat. The four ordered their food, and as they waited, Naruto began to feel uneasy. He was unsure of what to say. So, Naruto started to break the silence. What did you want to talk about, Gaara? Naruto asked. It's nothing in particular, Gaara replied. Oh, well, how you been? Did you recover all right from our fight? Naruto asked. Quote. Gaara sat in silence. Gaara. He only needed one night's rest. When he awoke, he was fine, Temari spoke up. Oh, I see. That's good, Naruto said as the food arrived. Naruto immediately reached over for some chopsticks and began to dig in. After several minutes, the group finished their meal. Now they sat in silence once again until finally, Gaara spoke. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. I must know. How are you so strong? Is it truly because of love? Gaara asked. Naruto took a moment to think before giving his response. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. I think so. I mean, I guess, it's not easy living a life like you and I have. But as you had never known love, and had people to care about you, I was in the same boat as you. But that changed. I found some people, they became important. So much so that I would gladly die as long as I could protect them, Naruto said. Gaara looked on intently. I see. But that's not entire what I meant either. You once said you had a real monster inside of you. What did you mean? Gaara asked. Oh, how much do you guys know about Konoha's history? Like, do you know anything about the major event that took place about 13 years ago? Naruto asked. Gaara nodded a no, but Temari began to speak up. I know a little. Your fourth Hokage fought the Kyuubi, a nine-tailed fox demon. The demon almost destroyed Konoha, and killed many, but the Hokage, who was unable to stop the demon, managed to seal the fox away, Temari said. But what makes me wonder, they never state what actually happened to the demon, what he was sealed into. Temari stopped in mid-thought as the Sand siblings looked over at Naruto, who was raising his hand. Me. Naruto stated silently. Why, you don't mean? Temari looked over at Naruto in shock. Naruto nodded as he lifted his shirt up slightly and channeled his chakra, and suddenly the seal appeared on his navel. I don't believe it. They sealed the demon inside you. I can't believe it, Temari said, still looking on in shock. So, you and I truly are similar, Gaara proclaimed. Naruto nodded. Why, you've had it rough to then, just like Gaara, right, Naruto-kun? Temari asked. The village can be cruel at times. From what I hear, the fourth wanted me to be viewed as a hero. But the adults didn't see me as a hero. Then the third created a rule that nobody was allowed to talk about how I had the Kyuubi inside me. So I was spared in the sense that none of the kids found out. But, the adults' feelings toward me passed on to the children. Then one day I was fooled by someone and learned of the secret. You know, it always hurt, but after I found out the demon was inside me, it seemed like the village's hate got worse. Because I actually knew now why it was they all hated me. It's not fair. They view me as the Kyuubi who killed and tried to destroy the village. They don't view me as the person I am. I guess it was the same for you, right, Gaara? Naruto sorrowfully stated. Gaara nodded again. But, as I said, all the hate in the world doesn't matter anymore, now that I know that there are some people who accept me. Even though, now I might have to ruin that by revealing my secret to them. But even then, I feel it's necessary. I need to know, am I truly accepted? Naruto finished. The group sat in silence again. Say, Gaara, would you like to be my friend? Naruto asked. Gaara sat in silence still. This is truly the first time anyone had ever asked such a question. All his life people avoided him, now someone, another person just like him, no, a person period was asking to be his friend. You want to be my friend? Gaara said aloud even though he was still in thought. Yeah, I'd really like to be your friend. It's not every day you meet someone who's lived the same way as you have, is it? Naruto asked. Uzumaki Naruto. I'd like to try. I'd like to try having a friend, Gaara said trying his best to smile. Gee Gaara. Tamari stuttered out as she and her brother looked on his shock. Good. I'd like that, Naruto replied with his normal smile. The group sat in silence again until Naruto realized the time. Ah, I'm late. I got to meet with my team. Ero Sennin's going to kill me. Naruto yelled as he got up and slammed money down on the counter. See you later Gaara, makeup boy and girl whose name I don't remember. Naruto screamed racing off to meet with his team. Makeup boy, I'm going to kill him later, Kankuro said to himself. I don't know if I should be flattered, or mad, Tamari said to herself. Uzumaki Naruto. My friend. Gaara said staring at Naruto as he vanished from the Sand siblings' view. Sigh. This isn't going to be easy, Tsunade said looking out her window. The Hyuga branch family hates the main family. His scars run especially deep. But I must depend on his help for this task, Tsunade said as she left her office. Meanwhile Jiraiya's team was wrapping up training for the day. Alright, that's enough, Jiraiya said looking at his team. The two girls on the team were panting heavily as they could barely hold themselves up. Naruto, who was also breathing hard, still, looked like he was ready to continue. Ah, come on Ero Sennin, I'm totally fine. Let's keep training, Naruto said looking over at his sensei. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Naruto number Baka. You're crazy, Hinata-chan and I are exhausted, Ino stated to her fellow blonde. Ah, come on, we can keep training a little while longer, Naruto said as he started to pout. No Naruto, that's enough for the day, Tsunade said arriving on the scene. Tsunade Obakan, what are you doing here? Naruto asked. First of all, call me granny again and I'll kill you. Second, I need to see Jiraiya, Tsunade answered. Alright, you heard Tsunade, training is done for the day, Jiraiya said to his team. Fine, but you'd better have something good for us tomorrow, Naruto proclaimed. Don't worry, tomorrow you'll be training with another team Naruto, Tsunade answered. Really? That's great. I can show everyone how great I am tomorrow, Naruto said happily as he walked off with his team. I thought I was in charge of them Tsunade. They aren't ready to face another team yet. I wanted to teach them a few things first, Jiraiya told his fellow Sannin. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Come, I want to visit Kurenai and her team. I have a request, for one of her students, Tsunade replied as the two walked off to find Kurenai's team. Does it involve the Hyuga? Jiraiya asked. How did you know? Tsunade asked. I figured with Hinata not being allowed to return to the manor to get training from her father, that you might seek someone else's help. Do you think he'll do it? Jiraiya asked curiously. I don't know, I've got to see what he thinks. Learning from you will greatly help Hinata out, but she does need to continue to perfect her family's style. You know I was originally going to give you both Hyuga Hinata and Hyuga Neji. But I needed to balance out the teams. Giving you Naruto and Neji would have made your team too powerful, Tsunade responded. I'm glad you didn't. I don't like geniuses, and you know that, Jiraiya said with a smile. Anyway, let's just see what he says, Tsunade said as the two arrived to see Kurenai's team getting ready to leave for the day. Kurenai turned to see the two Sannin. Hokage-sama, Jiraiya-sama, what are you doing here? Kurenai asked the two. I need to speak to Hyuga Neji, it concerns tomorrow's training. I want you and Jiraiya's team to train together, Tsunade responded. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. I see, I'll call him, Kurenai responded as she turned toward her student who began to walk off. Neji. Wait. Hokage-sama, and Jiraiya-sama are here and they want to speak to you for a moment, Kurenai said, calling out to the Hyuga boy. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Yes, I'm coming, Neji responded as he began to walk over to the adults. How can I help you, Hokage-sama, Jiraiya-sama? Neji asked. Neji, how do you feel about Hinata? Tsunade asked the boy. Hinata-sama, why do you ask? Neji asked, looking rather curious. I know you hate the main family of the Hyuga, but I'm also sure you know of what has happened with Hinata lately. She's no longer allowed in the Hyuga estate. Now she's currently living with Naruto. I need to know if you harness any hatred for Hinata herself, Tsunade finished. Living with Naruto, huh? She must be happy, and as to my feelings, I am disappointed in her weakness as a member of the main family. In our fight I took my hatred out on her, but I don't believe I hold any hatred for her personally. Why do you ask such a thing? Neji asked. Tomorrow, Jiraiya's team and yours will get together and train. I would like to ask you to help train Hinata. I believe she would benefit more from training with you than she could ever hope to benefit from training with her father. Tsunade responded. I see. Is it wise for me to train her? Shouldn't she learn things on her own? I mean, we are on separate teams, Neji asked. You are Konoha ninjas, comrades, even relatives. Just think of it as helping a fellow comrade. Help her learn to protect the one she loves, because he's too much of a moron to protect himself, Tsunade said with a smile. I'll consider it. I owe Naruto a great debt. He's shown me a different path and for that I am grateful, Neji replied. Very good, you're free to go, Tsunade said as she, Jiraiya, and Kurenai headed off in different directions. Uzumaki Naruto. He is the one capable of changing fate, Neji said with a smile as he headed off in his own direction. Meanwhile, Naruto and Hinata were at their usual spot. After finishing 37 bowls of ramen and 2 for Hinata, the two sat in silence. Naruto seemed lost in thought. So, I got to tell them about the Kyuubi, huh? How do I even start? I mean, sure, it was easy to tell Gaara and his siblings that, but Gaara and I lived similar lives, so of course he wasn't going to freak out. Also, if I got to tell people, then Sakura-chan deserves to know. Man, how am I going to do this? Naruto continued to think to himself until Hinata interrupted him. Naruto-kun, are you alright? You seem lost in thought, Hinata asked the blonde. Oh, I'm fine, I was just thinking about how cute you are, Naruto said with a smile. Yep, Naruto, you are smooth, Naruto thought proudly to himself as Hinata blushed deeply. Say, Hinata-chan, you want to go on a date with me? Like right now? Naruto asked, causing Hinata to blush an even darker shade of red. Sure. Naruto-kun, Hinata replied. Great. Let's go, Naruto said as he slammed money on the counter and dragged Hinata off. Where should we go? Hinata asked. Oh, I haven't thought that far ahead, Naruto answered. What if I tell them one person at a time? Hinata-chan will probably take it the best. I'll tell her first, Naruto thought to himself. Let's go to the park so we can talk, Naruto said, dragging the shy girl with him to the park. The two arrived and Naruto quickly found them a seat as the two sat down. So, what did you want to talk about, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Well, to be honest, I have a secret I need to tell you about. Naruto started. You see. Naruto took a deep breath. A really long time ago, like 13 years ago, a large demon called the Kyuubi attacked Konoha, and the fourth did all he could but couldn't win, so he sealed the demon away, and the third made a law that nobody could talk about it. You see, it turns out I was the one that the demon was sealed inside. Please don't hate me for this. Naruto told the girl as fast as he possibly could, which left the shy girl dumbfounded. Naruto-kun, I didn't hear a word you just said. See, could you please say that slower so I can understand? Hinata asked. Damn, I was afraid of that, Naruto managed to think to himself as he took another deep breath. Right. You see, Hinata, Naruto started again. Hey Naruto, Hinata. Naruto was interrupted by his former teammate. Yes, thank you so much Sakura-chan, you're the greatest, Naruto thought to himself with a grin as he waved to his former teammate. Hey Sakura-chan, what are you up to? Naruto asked the pink-haired girl. I was just on my way to pick up something. What are you two doing together? Sakura asked winking at Hinata. Oh, we're on a date, Naruto answered with a smile. Oh, so you finally got together, good for you, Sakura said happily. No, Sakura-san, it's not like that, Hinata said blushing deeply. Oh, I almost forgot, I bumped into Neji on my way out. He said we're training with you guys tomorrow, Sakura said to the two. Oh that's cool. That sounds great. Naruto shouted cheerfully. Yeah, should be fun. You know, my team kind of reminds me of us in Team 7. Kiba's loud like you Naruto, and Neji well he's a little like him. Sakura said trying to keep from mentioning their former teammate Sasuke. He's like Sasuke huh? Naruto stated sadly. Sakura-chan, I'm sorry. I broke my promise to you. Naruto sadly looked over to his teammate. Naruto, don't worry. Sasuke-kun chose his own path. My love for him wasn't good enough to keep him here. I'm just glad you're all right. I know I never pay you the attention or give you the respect you deserve, but you truly are a dear friend of mine, Sakura said cracking a smile. Thanks, Sakura-chan, Naruto returned the smile. Anyway, I've got to go, see you tomorrow, Sakura said running off. Bye Sakura-chan, Naruto yelled waving at her. Alright, let's go get some ice cream Hinata-chan, Naruto said grabbing the girl's hand and almost dragging her off. The two headed off to the ice cream parlor. After sitting down and enjoying their dessert, the two continued talking until a familiar voice interrupted them. Hey what are you up to, Naruto-kun? The familiar blonde San-genin asked. Hey, it's you. The Y girl whose name I can't quite remember, what brings you out here? Naruto replied. It's Tamari. My name is Tamari. Tamari shouted at Naruto. Sorry Tamari-chan, Naruto said rubbing the back of his head in embarrassment. That's better, and as for what I'm doing here, Tamari started to blush as she grabbed someone's arm and pulled him forward. I'm having him show me around, Tamari said pulling the lazy Chunin into view. Ah Shikamaru, you two are together, Naruto shouted. No way I'd do something as troublesome as hooking up with this crazy chick. Shikamaru said quickly receiving a bump on his head. Ouch. Damn you woman. Don't hit me, Shikamaru said rubbing his head. Come on Shika-kun, let's go, Tamari said as she starting to drag Shikamaru with her. Don't call me Shika-kun, Shikamaru replied. Oh I almost forgot, Tamari said as she ran up and kissed Naruto on the cheek causing them both to blush slightly. This action actually caused Hinata to look rather annoyed by it. What? Naruto was only able to spit out. Thank you Naruto-kun, for what you did for Gaara, no for all three of us, Tamari said as she grabbed Shikamaru's arm again and the two left. Man, I'm lucky, Naruto said rubbing his cheek still blushing. What kinds of girl do you like, Naruto-kun? Girls like Sakura-san, or Tamari-san? Hinata began to ask Naruto. Well, Sakura-chan is great, and Tamari-chan is indeed very pretty, but so are you for that matter. Yeah, I'd say I like you best Hinata-chan, Naruto said with a smile causing Hinata to turn red. Anyway, I'm getting tired. We got a long day tomorrow. Let's go home, Naruto said as the two got up and began to head back to Naruto's apartment. The next day came fast for the Genin as Jiraiya's team and Kurenai's team met. Alright, today's training will be simple. You're going to train with the partner I've chose for you, Jiraiya started. Naruto, you and Kiba will train together. Ino you and Sakura will train together. Neji, you and Hinata will train together, Jiraiya finished. Neji immediately began to walk over to Hinata. The Hyuga girl began to get very nervous. Naruto and Kiba walked off to start training and Sakura and Ino were already arguing over something. Hinata-sama. Come, Neji said as Hinata reluctantly walked off with Neji. Hinata-sama, Hokage-sama, has requested that I help you train. I've accepted. But I'm not doing it for you. My anger for the main family remains, so for now I'm not doing this for you, Neji said. Then why, Neji-ni-san? Hinata nervously asked. I'm doing this for the person you love. I'm doing this so that he never has to fall in battle protecting you. I admire and respect Naruto, and truthfully I cherish his friendship. He helped me wake up to the reality that destiny can be changed. For him, I'll help you train, Neji finished. Thank you, Neji-ni-san, I'll do my best, Hinata said. I do this for him, and one day, I hope I can say I did this for you as well. I have no feelings of hatred for you personally. Maybe, just maybe, one day I can call you, a member of the main family, a friend, Neji thought to himself, as a smile crept up on his lips. The teams trained. Hinata and Neji began what would soon become a daily routine. Ino and Sakura managed to get nothing accomplished but slinging insults. Naruto and Kiba, between cursing at each other, only managed to beat each other senseless as the day passed and training ended. The village of Konoha lay quiet, slowly trying to recover its lost peace. Meanwhile, there was no peace in the village of Sound. Sasuke-kun, Orochimaru-sama wants to see you, the silver-haired, glasses-wearing ninja said, standing in the doorway of Sasuke's chamber. Yes, the boy replied. Have you been practicing? The old ninja asked. Yes, I can summon with no trouble now, the Uchiha replied to the older ninja. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. That's very good, Kabuto said. Come. Let's not keep Orochimaru-sama waiting. Yes, Sasuke answered as he followed Kabuto out the door and was led to Orochimaru's chamber. Kabuto showed Sasuke inside, where Orochimaru sat. Very good, you've arrived, Sasuke-kun, the Sannin smiled wickedly. You wished to see me, Orochimaru-sama. Sasuke bowed. Yes, I wanted to inform you of a trip we'll be making shortly, the evil ninja said. A trip? Sasuke wondered. Yes, it's a trip to a very familiar place for the both of us, a trip toward Konoha, Orochimaru said. We're going to pay some friends of yours a visit, Orochimaru continued. But most importantly, we're going to visit the Kyuubi brat. Naruto. Why do you need that idiot for? Sasuke inquired. I'm concerned. Your battle with the brat, it may have weakened the seal. I'm concerned that the brat may grow in strength. Think of it as doing him a favor. Or would you rather your dear brother get him first? Orochimaru asked, still smiling wickedly. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. No. Sasuke yelled with an extremely angry look on his face. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Very good, we'll leave soon. For now I want you to continue practicing those new jutsu I taught you, Orochimaru told the boy. Now go. Yes, I'll go train at once, the Uchiha boy replied as he left the room. Orochimaru-sama, is it wise to put Sasuke-kun up to this so early? I mean, don't you think it's too soon? Kabuto expressed his concern. Kabuto, don't worry. All will go as I plan, Orochimaru stated as he laughed evilly. Meanwhile, a new day in Konoha began. Naruto and Hinata began their day, as they prepared to head off to meet up with their team. Naruto had just finished getting dressed, he reached over and grabbed his necklace and put it on. Oh, Naruto-kun, I've meant to say this before, but that's a really nice necklace. Where'd you get it? Hinata asked. Oh, it's very precious to me. I got it from Tsunade Obakan. This happens to be the first Hokage's necklace. It's one of my most treasured possessions, that and my Konoha head protector, of course. I got it from Iruka-sensei, Naruto answered as he reached for his orange jacket and put it on. Oh, Naruto-kun, are you ready for another day of training? Hinata asked. Of course, I'm going to train extra hard today, Naruto replied. Naruto-kun, You say that every day, Hinata said as the two headed out the door of the apartment. Yeah, and I mean it every day too, Naruto said with a smile as the two headed off to meet with the rest of the team at their usual training ground. I wonder what Jiraiya-sensei has in store for us today, Hinata said wondering out loud. Arrow Sennin, I never know with him. He's a big idiot most of the time, but he's really strong, Naruto responded as the two arrived, and greeted Ino who was already there. Good morning, Ino said with a smile. Good morning, Ino-san, Hinata said with a bow. Yo, Jiraiya said walking up to the group. Hey, Arrow Sennin, what are you going to have us do today? Naruto asked the older ninja. First off, call me Arrow Sennin again and I tie you to this tree stump and force you to watch me eat 20 bowls of ramen, Jiraiya said to his student. Now, I examined all your abilities, over the last couple of days. I've decided to give you all some things to work on in order to improve. First of all, you're all lacking in the speed department. You desperately need to improve that. Ino and Hinata, you two need to work on your stamina, Jiraiya said. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. But Jiraiya-sensei, the dumba's enough stamina to make up for it, so is that a real concern? Ino interrupted. Naruto looked over at her with an annoyed expression on his face. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Yeah it is, I don't feel comfortable letting the dumb do everything all alone after the two of you tire out, Jiraiya said to the group. Hey, you guys know I'm right here, right? Naruto asked still looking very annoyed. Anyway, those are my two biggest concerns. I am however impressed by some things. Hinata you're doing quite well training with Neji. Naruto, your taijutsu has improved as well. Ino, you're not too bad either. Your genjutsu abilities though. I also decided to do something that will make Naruto really happy, Jiraiya started. I'm going to teach the three of you some things today. Hinata, Ino while you practice on your stamina I think you two should learn how to summon. Summon? Summon what? Ino asked. That's easy of course, Jiraiya started with a huge grin on his face. I am after all, the Gamma Sennin, so I'm going to teach you how to summon the greatest creatures on earth, the mighty toads. Jiraiya said. Yes, I will teach you, Kuchio's no jutsu. Jiraiya shouted to his team. What? I've got to learn how to summon yucky frogs. Ino said with disappointment in her voice, which caused Jiraiya to fall over anime style. Yucky frogs, you silly girl. The toad is both helpful and fierce in combat. You should consider it an honor. The fourth and I, other than the dumbware the last two to summon toads. I'm breaking regulations here, there usually is only one person per generation that signs the contract, Jiraiya said. Oh, I see. Still, frogs are slimy, Ino responded. Anyways, here take this, Jiraiya said as he performed several seals and then slammed his hand onto the ground. Kuchio's number jutsu. Jiraiya yelled as a giant toad with a huge scroll in his mouth appeared. The toad dropped the scroll, and it unraveled, revealing the names of Jiraiya, the fourth Hokage, and Naruto as the last three to have signed this scroll. So now all you do is sign your names in blood, and put your fingerprints underneath, then you make the seals of the boar, dog, bird, monkey, ram and channel your chakra and go as I did, Jiraiya said as the two girls, one at a time signed the scroll. When they were finished the giant toad disappeared with the scroll. Alright, here goes, Ino and Hinata both started forming the proper seals. Boar, dog, bird, monkey, ram, the girls finished. Kuchio's number jutsu. The two girls slammed their hands onto the ground as a cloud of smoke appeared. When the smoke cleared, two small toads were sitting where they had been summoned. They're quite small, and definitely unusable for battle, but much to Naruto's disappointment, they're definitely much bigger than what Naruto first summoned with the jutsu. Ah well, not great, but definitely better than Naruto. In 3 weeks of training the best he could summon were tadpoles. You two did much better than this moron, Jiraiya said pointing over at Naruto. You used too little chakra, but that's fine for now. I just wanted you to learn it and see how well you could summon on the first try. Now you two go and begin doing the exercises I left for you, and definitely work on improving your stamina. Kuchio's no jutsu takes a lot of chakra out of you. You'll need to work on that, Jiraiya said as the kunoichi headed off to start their exercises. Jiraiya then turned to Naruto. Naruto, we need to talk. Yeah, what do you want, Arrow Sennin? Naruto asked. Have you thought about what I said? About telling them? Jiraiya asked. Yeah, I have. Hell, I've already told Gaara and his team, Naruto replied. How'd they take it? Jiraiya asked. Pretty well, but I don't count it much since Gaara has a demon in him as well, and well, his siblings are probably used to that already, Naruto replied. I see, Jiraiya managed to say. I almost told Hinata the other day. I may try again. It might be easier to tell them one at a time, Naruto told the Sannin. Well, as long as you tell them, you're free to do it your own way, Jiraiya said. I kind of want to tell Sakura-chan too. I mean, she was my teammate and she deserves to know, Naruto said. Tell whomever you like. Stick to those you trust definitely, Jiraiya said. Anyway, you're in luck despite the fact you keep calling me Arrow Sennin. I'm going to teach you not one, but two really cool techniques. What? Really? What are they? Arrow. I mean Jiraiya sensei, Naruto asked with an excited look on his face. The first technique is called Kage Bunshin Daibakua. It's a technique not really used that often, but it is a Junin level ability in which you make your Kage Bunshins blow up, Jiraiya told the boy. Whoa. That sounds so cool, Naruto said, jumping for joy. What's the other technique? The next jutsu we won't worry about until you've got this one down, but it's basically more for defense. It's a Junin level move as well, but even the second Hokage was known to use it. It's called Suiden Sujinheki. It creates 360-degree water barrier. It'll surround you and protect you, especially against fire users, Jiraiya finished. Yeah, alright. This is going to be so awesome. I just can't wait. Naruto shouted. Alright Naruto, to do the Kage Bunshin Daibakua effectively, you need to perform Kage Bunshin of course. Then basically you have the Bunshins channel all their chakra to its breaking point and when the time's right, let them release it, and boom. You get an exploding Bunshin. This is very useful for tricking opponents into thinking they've been fighting you only to reveal they've been fighting a Bunshin as it blows up in their faces. But be careful, it drains a lot of chakra out of you and of course, you can be hurt by this jutsu as well. Now give it a try Naruto, Jiraiya instructed his student as Naruto proceeded to perform his jutsu. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto yelled as two Bunshins emerged. Immediately the two Bunshins started channeling but forgot to maintain it properly and exploded, blowing Naruto away and slamming him hard into the ground. Sigh. Naruto no baka. You're not supposed to be so close to the Bunshins, Jiraiya said staring down at his student. Oh, yeah, forgot about that, Naruto said as he got up. They continued on much like this, Hinata and Ino practicing their taijutsu and performing many jogging and running exercises while every now and then they practice summoning. Meanwhile, Naruto spent his time blowing himself up much to Jiraiya's amusement. Finally, Jiraiya decided to call it a day. Alright, you all did very well, except for Naruto, whom if he keeps it up there won't be anything left of him to try and train. You all are free to go, Jiraiya said and then disappeared in a puff of smoke. Well, see you tomorrow guys, Ino said to the group as she left. Alright, let's go. Naruto started to walk off but staggered and fell. Hinata rushed to his side. Naruto-kun, are you alright? Hinata asked with a worried look on her face. Yeah, just overdid it today. Don't worry Hinata-chan, Naruto said, flashing his fox-like grin as the two headed back to the apartment. Later the two arrived back at the apartment and Hinata began to patch up Naruto. Naruto-kun, you should really take it easy. You're going to hurt yourself, Hinata told her roommate. Nah, I'm fine, Naruto replied. Maybe now would be a good time to tell Hinata-chan, Naruto thought to himself. Say Hinata-chan. Yes, what is it Naruto-kun? Hinata asked looking over at the blonde. What would you think of a person who you knew, and that person had a terrible secret? Naruto asked. I don't quite understand what you mean, Naruto-kun, Hinata asked looking on intently. Well, what I'm trying to say is. Naruto started but was interrupted by a knock on the door. Damn, saved again. No wait, I have to tell her, Naruto thought to himself as he headed toward the door. Hey, hurry up and let me in. A familiar voice shouted from outside. Alright, I'm coming, Naruto said as he opened the door, revealing the normally lazy Chunin, racing inside and closing the door behind him, as he panted heavily. What the hell? Shikamaru. What's going on? Naruto yelled at the Chunin. Why you got to hide me for a while? They're after me, that crazy sand bitch and Ino, Shikamaru stated looking rather worried. What? Why are they after you? Naruto asked looking quite puzzled. Well, Tamari was dragging me around, and we ended up at Ino's flower shop. Ino was behind the counter. They conversed and then started to argue, and then I merely asked why blondes had to be so stupid. I mean, every blonde I meet is a total moron, Shikamaru finished his statement, as saw Naruto looking rather annoyed. All blondes are stupid, huh? Naruto asked. Suddenly, he grabbed the Chunin by the collar, opened the door and flings him out and then started to holler. All blondes are stupid, huh? Screw you. Naruto then slammed the door. Damn you, Naruto, Shikamaru muttered as the two angry blonde genin appeared behind him. Shikamaru. The two girls yelled in unison. Oh damn, was pretty much all Shikamaru could manage to say before the two blondes attacked. Ouch, 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 could easily be heard from behind Naruto's door, as the sounds of the two girls beating the Chunin senseless rang throughout the building. That's what he gets, Naruto yelled, feeling quite satisfied. Naruto-kun, Hinata interrupted. Yeah, what is it, Hinata-chan? Naruto turned and asked the girl. What were you saying before? Hinata asked. Oh yeah, that, I was saying, that. Naruto started again but was once again interrupted. The annoyed Naruto stomped over the door, and opened it. Go away, Shika. Naruto began to yell but then realized it wasn't Shikamaru, but Neji standing there. Neji ni-san. What are you doing here? Hinata asked. Come Hinata-sama, it's time for us to train. You know the only time we have to train together is later afternoons, or evenings, all depending on when our teams are through for the day. It was rather unfortunate that our sensei held us up longer than expected today, Neji finished. But Hinata started but was dragged out by Neji. Let's go, I'll have you back in a few hours, Neji said as Hinata gave in and reluctantly followed, leaving Naruto alone. Damn it, Naruto cursed. I was really going to tell her. Oh well, no use getting upset. I'm definitely going to tell her soon. I know I can trust her. I hope, Naruto said with a frown forming on his face. The new teams had now been together for a few seemingly short weeks. Since that night in the apartment, Naruto had started to act differently. Hinata noticed immediately that the usually happy blonde genin had turned quiet, almost as if he's always deep in thought. The only time he seemed to act like his usual self was when he was training. The Hyuga girl began to get deeply concerned. What would you think of a person who you knew, and that person had a terrible secret? Hinata remembered the question Naruto asked her before they were interrupted that night. What did Naruto-kun mean? Why has he been acting so differently? It's like there is a battle going on deep inside of his head, Hinata thought, as the genin arrived for their late afternoon training session. Yo, Jiraiya said as he greeted the genin. Today we're going to do solo training. Ino, Hinata, you both continue to practice improving your stamina and your summoning. Naruto, go off to practice your taijutsu on the training dummies. You might want to practice those new jutsus some more as well, Jiraiya said, dismissing his team as he sat underneath a tree. Damn that arrow Sennin, he never wants to oversee my training, Naruto cursed to himself as he headed off to practice. Maybe I should take the time and practice controlling my chakra. Kyuubi said the seal tore a little after my fight with Sasuke. So maybe if I train with Kyuubi's chakra, I can start to control it better, Naruto thought to himself as he made the seal of the ram and started to channel his chakra. What happened next, Naruto never would have expected. A violent rush of demonic chakra poured out from him uncontrollably. His claws and fangs grew and he let out a mighty yet almost painful sounding scream that morphed into a roar. The blazing red chakra began to fill the area. At this time Jiraiya had just about fallen asleep when the sudden rush of evil chakra hit him. He snapped awake and immediately rushed off toward the source. Hinata and Ino had also sensed it and seeing their sensei take off decided to follow. Meanwhile, in a nearby training area, Kurenai's team had just finished for the day. Kurenai and Kiba had both left and Sakura and Neji were about to leave when the killer aura flooded into their area and hit them. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. What is this terrible feeling? Why do I feel like something bad is happening to Hinata-sama's team? Neji thought to himself as he raced off toward the source of the evil aura. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. What's this terrible feeling? It's horrible and why is Neji running off toward it? Naruto. That's near our old training grounds, I've got to go, what is Naruto needs me? Sakura thought as she headed off to the source of the evil aura as well. In the middle of a blazing demon aura, a growling, roaring Naruto thrashed about. The boy gripped himself digging his claws deep into his arms drawing blood as he tried to get a grip of what was happening to him. As this happened Jiraiya had arrived on the scene. Naruto. Jiraiya shouted as Hinata and Ino arrived and was horrified at the sight of Naruto's evil chakra wrapping around him and forming a tail. Jiraiya raced to Naruto and got behind him grabbing him tightly by the arms trying to keep him from moving around as he shouted to his other students. Hinata. Quickly, you must close Naruto's tenketsu points. The shock should immobilize him and calm him back down, Jiraiya shouted. The Hyuga girl could merely just stand staring straight into the evil red eyes of the blonde boy whom she admired greatly, as Neji and Sakura arrived. Hinata-sama, Neji said racing over to her, where he quickly took notice of Naruto. My god, what the hell is going on here? Neji managed to spit out in his shocked state. Naruto. Sakura stuttered as Naruto roared. The killer intent he was emitting was enough to knock Ino and Sakura back. Hinata stood frozen unsure of what to do. Neji, please I need you to strike Naruto's tenketsu. Jiraiya shouted at the boy. What? Strike his tenketsu points? Why? Neji questioned still in shock. Please you must hurry. Jiraiya yelled, snapping the boy's attention back into reality. Right. Neji managed to say as he charged at Naruto. Hakusho. Rokuju Yansho. Neji shouted as he struck all of Naruto's points. Jiraiya moved away from Naruto as the boy coughed up blood and fell onto his back. Damn, the seal's weakened, I'll need to redo the seal slightly, Jiraiya whispered so that nobody he thought could hear him. But he was shocked as Naruto reached up and grabbed his hand. No. I need to learn how to control it, that's all, Naruto said weakly. Hinata finally regained her composure and ran over to check on Naruto. Naruto-kun, are you alright? Hinata asked looking very concerned. Quote. Naruto couldn't respond with words but managed a slight nod. Sigh. Well, we'll end training early today. Hinata, Neji, could you help him back to his apartment? Jiraiya asked the two Hyugas. Ino, Sakura, you two should go home. Don't worry about what you saw today, I'm sure everything will be explained eventually, Jiraiya faked a smile as he walked off. Naruto, now you'll have to tell them. But I admire the boy, to think if he could truly learn to control the Kyuubi's chakra like that, he'll make a damn powerful Hokage, Jiraiya stated to himself. Alright, Hinata-sama, help me here, Neji said as he put one of Naruto's arms over his shoulder. Hinata did the same with Naruto's other arm as they started to walk off. Naruto. What's going on? Sakura asked to herself as the two Hyugas vanished from view. The walk back to the apartment was very silent, each genin deeply stuck in thought. What was that? It was like from the Chunin exams, when I fought him, only more vicious. That murderous intent was incredible, it's hard to believe it came from Naruto, Neji thought to himself. Naruto-kun, I'm sorry. I was frozen, I was just too terrified, I couldn't do anything. Hinata thought to herself. What would you think of a person who you knew, and that person had a terrible secret? Hinata once again remembered what Naruto had asked. Is this what he meant? Hinata contemplated. Damn, I really screwed up this time, Naruto cursed to himself. Now, Neji, Hinata-chan, Ino, and Sakura-chan all saw it. I really have to tell them now. Ino, Sakura-chan, Hinata-chan, they were so frightened. Is this really what I have to look forward to? Do I really have to go back to that time? When there was nobody. Is the Kyuubi, is that all anyone will ever see? Naruto thought to himself as his face turned to stare at the ground, wanting desperately to avoid eye contact with anyone. The Hyugas finally reached the apartment. Hinata unlocked the door and the two helped Naruto sit down on his bed. Neji inspected Naruto's injuries, and Hinata used some of her ointment and bandaged up Naruto's arms where his claws had dug into. You'll be fine, Naruto. After a night's rest, your tenketsu will open properly, Neji stated as headed toward the door. Naruto spoke up to stop the Hyuga boy from leaving. Neji, wait, please stay. That is, if you want. I need to talk to you and Hinata-chan. If you're willing to listen. Naruto said, still reflecting in his mind of his past sorrows, his face wearing a dark and cold look, his eyes looked almost lifeless. Sure. Neji responded, witnessing Naruto's lifeless expression. Neji turned around and took a seat near Naruto. Hinata did the same. What would you think of a person who you knew, and that person had a terrible secret? Naruto started. It's the same question from before. Hinata thought to herself. What do you mean, Naruto? I don't quite understand the question, Neji asked. What would you think if someone you knew turned out to not be who you really thought he was? Naruto said, his eyes still void of life. I'm sure you know much of Konoha's history, right? Naruto asked the two Hyugas. They nodded a yes in response. 13 years ago, the fourth Hokage. He went into battle. An evil demon had started to attack the Kyuubi. The fourth, he fought his best for the sake of the village, but even he wasn't able to defeat the demon. So he did the only thing he could. He sealed the demon away, forfeiting his own life. The demon was sealed inside a newly born baby. That baby, it was me. I am the container for the Kyuubi. Naruto finished as tears slowly trickled down his face. The Hyugas sat in shock. So, that was it. In our fight, after his tenketsu was closed. The chakra he summoned and that evil face I saw. It was the demon's. I see. His fate was similar to mine after all, Neji thought to himself. So all this time, the villagers' hatred, it was because of this. He's suffered so much. How is it possible for someone to have to suffer this much? Hinata thought to herself. Her eyes started to water as they both focused on Naruto once again, his tears had yet to stop falling from his face. I was so alone. I hated everyone. I didn't even understand why it was I was so hated. What did I do to everyone? You know, I was starting to accept the hatred, and then I found out my fate. I found out I was a demon's container. I suddenly understood it all. When I found out the Kyuubi was inside of me. It's sort of funny, but I felt like the villagers became even more distant. It was so tough. I hated living this pain. You under the mask of false happiness, living the life of someone who fakes a smile and tries to get everybody's attention. I wanted to be viewed as me. As Uzumaki Naruto. But all I ever got were those eyes of hatred. Tea to the people of Konoha. I'll never be anything more tea than the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Naruto said, trying to continue his story. Why now? Why did you decide to tell us this now? Neji asked intently. Why you ask why? I never wanted to let anyone know. But it was for the best and I need to see. After finally finding people whom would accept me. I needed to see. Am I truly accepted? Am I accepted? Am I Uzumaki Naruto? Or am I just the boy who holds an evil demon? I hate this false existence. Naruto tears started to intensify. He cried his tears of pain and sorrow. Naruto looked up at the Hyugas. First at Neji, the Hyuga boy sat in silence as if he was taking in everything he'd heard. Then he turned to Hinata, the girl who liked him, and honestly the girl he liked right back. He expected eyes of fear, or hatred, but what he saw wasn't tears of fear or terror, they were tears of sorrow. The tears streamed down the Hyuga girl's face. Naruto's eyes met with hers. She lunged herself off her chair and embraced Naruto tightly, causing Neji and Naruto to look on in shock. Naruto-kun. Naruto-kun, Hinata cried. I'm sorry. If I only knew. Maybe I could have been there for you. Why you must have been so lonely. I wish I would have known. I could have been there for you. IIC can't believe it's possible for someone as incredible as you to have had to suffer so much. Please forgive me for not seeing your pain sooner. All this time, Hinata said, still crying. All this time I looked to you for strength, not realizing you needed someone to help you stay strong. Please. Hinata was unable to finish her statement. She became overcome by her tears. She was momentarily surprised when Naruto returned the embrace and his head now rested on her shoulders as he sobbed as well, only this time the tears were different. Hinata-chan, thank you. Naruto cried. These tears weren't tears of sorrow. These tears were tears of joy. How is it possible? All my life, I wanted this, to be accepted. How is it possible that you were able to tell me everything I needed to hear? Thank you, Naruto thought to himself as he continued to sob. Finally, after about 2 hours of non-stop tears, Naruto finally seemed to calm down. He had finally been allowed to cry his eyes out with someone there to support him. Something he desired his entire life. Naruto. Neji silently said, getting the boy's attention. Yes. Naruto responded. My feelings, they have not changed, Neji told the boy. What? Naruto replied. I still admire you, I still respect you. No, even more so now. You truly understood me after all. No, that's not totally true. It was I who didn't understand you. You've proven to me that once again, that fate can be changed. You've shown me what it means to be truly strong. For that, I thank you and I'm proud to call you my dearest friend, Neji said with a smile as he headed toward the door. Neji. Naruto called to him. Yes. Neji responded. Thank you, my friend, Naruto said with a smile. No, thank you. Neji once again returned the smile and headed out the door. Deep in a dark forest, the location of the hidden sound, 3 ninjas emerged as they head toward the fire country. The first was a younger ninja wearing a brand new sound head protector, wearing a mask similar to Haku's, only black with red lining. The only thing that was visible was the boy's red, Sharingan eyes. He was also wearing a black trench coat similar to what the Akatsuki wore. Next to him was the snake Sennin, and next to him was the silver-haired medical ninja. Kyuubi brat, soon we'll take care of you once and for all. With him dead, nobody will be able to stop me, not Tsunade, and not Jiraiya, Orochimaru said as he laughed evilly. Meanwhile, a new day in Konoha began, and Naruto was about to wake up to quite the surprise. The genin began to stir and then realized his body was quite heavy. Naruto, who'd been sleeping on the floor since Hinata moved in, awoke to find Hinata asleep in his arms. The blonde was quite alarmed as he shot up to his feet. What the hell is Hinata doing sleeping on the floor with me? I mean, we were talking and then I think I feel asleep. But why is she on the floor with me? Naruto said, looking quite confused, as Hinata began to stir and awaken. Good morning, Naruto-kun, Hinata said with a smile. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Why yeah, what were you doing on the floor, next to me? Naruto nervously asked. Oh, we were talking and after a while you feel asleep, you seemed like you were having a bad dream or something, so I decided to lie down beside you, Hinata stated as she started to blush. Then you grabbed me and were holding me quite close. I think that's when I got comfortable and feel asleep as well, Hinata finished. Oh, I see, Naruto says, grinning. Good. I wasn't sure what the heck happened. But it was kind of nice waking up with someone beside me, Naruto thought to himself. Hinata-chan, we don't have training today, do we? Naruto asked. No, I don't think so. Jiraiya-sensei didn't say we did. I think we're free today, Hinata answered. Good. Want to go on another date? Naruto asked with a grin. Sure, I'd love that, Hinata replied with a smile. Alright, we'll go out after we get cleaned up, Naruto said, heading off to the bathroom. About an hour later, the two were finally ready and headed off into the lively village. Alright, let's go have some fun, Naruto said with a grin. He turned to Hinata and extended his hand to her. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Yes, let's go, Naruto-kun, Hinata said as she grabbed Naruto's arm and the two walked into town. After a stop at Naruto's second home, and a stroll around the park, the two were walking around when they were interrupted by Ino. Discover more. Books. Books and literature. Hey Naruto, Hinata-chan. Ino shouted as she ran up to the two. Hello Ino-san, Hinata greeted the girl. Hey, don't you two look cute together, Ino said with an almost evil smile. So what are you two up to? Ino asked. We're on a date, Naruto boldly responded, causing Hinata to blush. Oh, that's sweet, Ino replied. So Naruto, are you alright? Things were kind of weird yesterday. Ino asked. Oh yeah, that was Oh look at the time, Hinata and I got to go, Naruto said as he started to drag Hinata with him. Bye Ino, see you later. Naruto yelled as he ran off with Hinata holding on to his arm desperately. Naruto-kun, please slow down, I think we're far enough, Hinata said as Naruto put on the brakes and came to a stop. Sorry Hinata-chan, Naruto said with a grin. Somebody please help me, a familiar voice screamed as he approached the two. What? Naruto said as the boy, who turned out to be a skinny Choji, stopped before the two. Why you got to help me? Choji said, trying to catch his breath. Choji, what's wrong? Naruto asked with a puzzled expression on his face. These fangirls are insane, they won't leave me alone, you got to hide me, Choji pleaded. Ever since he returned sporting his new skinny look, he'd become quite the ladies' man, in the ladies' eyes that is. Oh Choji-kun, where are you? A bunch of girls screamed from around the corner. Oh no, Choji shouted. Quick, Choji in the bushes here, Naruto pointed to a big bush and Choji jumped in. Naruto and Hinata then stood suspiciously in front of the bush as the girls ran up and stopped before Naruto and Hinata. Hey, have either of you seen our dear Choji-kun? One of the girls asked. Hinata nodded a no. Oh Choji, Naruto started. Yeah, I saw him, he went that way. He said something about going to buy some pretty girl a gift, Naruto told the girls as he pointed in the opposite direction. Naruto watched as the girls began to argue about who the present was for before they all decided to head in the direction Naruto pointed to. When the girls were out of view, Choji came out of the bushes. Oh thanks Naruto, you're the greatest, Choji said as he started to jog back the way he came. Oh, and you two look cute together, Choji added as he headed out of their view, leaving the two blushing. Discover more. Books and literature. Books. Meanwhile, as the two continued their date, Kurenai's team had been called and assembled before Tsunade. Yes, Hokage-sama, you called for us? Kurenai asked. Yes, I did. I have a mission for your team. It seems after reviewing everything, your team is the most prepared to do missions, next to Guy's team that is. Their team has already been off doing missions. After reviewing the reports, I believe your team is ready, Tsunade told the Junin and her team. This is a B-ranked mission. You're to travel to the next country over. However, you must be careful, you have to travel through the Valley of the End, Tsunade told the group. The mission is to guard a caravan from possible ninja and bandit attacks. You'll leave tomorrow through the North Gate, Tsunade finished. Yes, Hokage-sama, we'll be prepared then, Kurenai said to Tsunade with a bow and then turned to her team. You're all free to go. Please get some rest and meet up at the gate at 7 sharp, Kurenai said to her team as they all left. I'm worried. That was the site of Naruto and Sasuke's battle. It's also near the border to the Sound. I have a very bad feeling about this, Tsunade thought to herself as she watched the team leave. Back to the genin, who continued throughout the village, the two were about to get another rude interruption. The spirit of youth is so marvelous. Hello, my dear friends. Naruto and Hinata turned to see Lee and his sensei. Guy walked over to Naruto and gave him a mighty pat on the back. Naruto-kun, Hinata-san, hello, how are you today? Lee politely asked. Hello, Lee-san, Guy-sensei, Hinata nodded. Lee, can you not see that these youths are enjoying themselves on such a fine day as this? The wonderful spirit of love is filling the air. It's so glorious that it brings tears to my eyes. Guy shouted to his student as tears started to pour down his face. Oh Guy-sensei, you're so wise. Lee shouted, tears also forming. Lee. Guy shouted. Sensei. Lee shouted back. Lee. Guy shouted again, his arms extended. Sensei. Lee shouted, jumping into his sensei's arms. Naruto looked on sort of annoyed, and Hinata just doesn't know what to think. Naruto-kun, is this normal? Hinata whispered to Naruto. Sigh. For fuzzy brows and super fuzzy brows, I'm afraid so, Naruto whispered back. Come. Let's go before they notice us, Naruto said as the two decided to sneak by the two men embracing. Naruto-kun, you certainly know some strange people, Hinata said. Yeah, tell me about it, Naruto said as a big square box approached. Oh great. Naruto walked forward as the box followed. Naruto then ran back and forth and the box still followed. Finally he came to a stop and turned around as the box stopped. Sigh. Konohamaru, who do you think you're fooling? Naruto asked. Ah, just what I'd expect from my rival, Konohamaru said from underneath the box. The box suddenly exploded as the three young academy students started to cough. Too much gunpowder. Man, we really need to work on this, Konohamaru coughed, and then the three kids went through their normal routine. Hey, Konohamaru, go away, I'm busy, Naruto said to the boy. Ah, don't be like that, Naruto ni-chan, the younger boy replied. Ah, who is this girl? Konohamaru asked, staring at the girl holding onto Naruto's arm. Hey bro, your girlfriend's really cute. She's definitely better than that ugly forehead girl you were with last time, Konohamaru said as he turned his head in other directions, making sure that Sakura was nowhere to be found. Yeah, she's really cute alright, Naruto said to the boy, which caused Hinata to blush. Well, Hinata-chan and I have to get going, so see you guys later, Naruto said as he waved to the kids and walked off with Hinata still gripping onto his arm. The two were soon approached by Hinata's former teammates. Yo Hinata, Kiba said, walking up to the two. His dog Akamaru sat on top of his head. Shino was quietly walking with the dog Ninja. Hello Kiba-kun, Shino-kun. Hinata greeted the two. Arf. Akamaru barked, getting Hinata's attention. Hello to you too, Akamaru, Hinata said with a smile as she petted the dog on Kiba's head. Hello Hinata, and you as well Naruto, Shino said. Hey Shino. Hey dog breath, Naruto said to Hinata's former teammates. Dog breath. Damn you Naruto. Don't make me kick your, Kiba said, yelling at the blonde. Just try it, dog boy. Naruto said as the two got in each other's faces. Naruto-kun, please stop, Hinata said tugging on Naruto's jacket. Huh, oh yeah, sorry Hinata-chan. Sorry dog boy, Hinata and I are on a date, so I'll have to kick your later, Naruto said as he walked off. Goodbye Shino-kun, Kiba-kun, see you later, Hinata waved as she ran off to catch up with Naruto. I've never seen Hinata look so happy. That's great to see, Shino said to himself with a smile on his face. Naruto and Hinata walked around Konoha for most of the day, and then they finally returned to Ichiraku's, so the two could sit down to eat. The two ordered their ramen and were shocked to see the three Sand siblings eating ramen. Hey, it's Gaara, Naruto yelled. I got you hooked on ramen. See, didn't I tell you ramen was the greatest food on earth? Naruto said with a big grin on his face. Gaara ignored the blonde and continued to eat his meal. Moron. Do you ever shut up? Kankuro asked looking quite annoyed. Every time I see you, you're always talking. Ah, shut up make-up boy, Naruto said back to the sand ninja. Don't make me kill you. Kankuro yelled. Kankuro shut up and eat, Gaara said to his sibling. Kankuro immediately shut up and returned to his seat. So, who's the girl Naruto-kun? Tamari asked and then pointed to Hinata. Is she your girlfriend? Tamari asked causing the two to blush. Oh, I think she is, Tamari said with a grin. Hey shut up. So what, and her name is Hinata-chan, Naruto said blushing deeply. Did Naruto-kun just say I was his girlfriend? Hinata thought to herself with a blush on her face. Hello, my name is Hyuga Hinata, Hinata shyly responded. Ah, a really shy girl, how the hell can she stand to be near you? Kankuro said with a grin. Naruto-kun's not that bad, her answer caused Kankuro and Tamari to laugh. Hinata-chan, not you too, you're all against me, I'm hurt, Naruto said as he started to pout as their food arrived. Ramen, Naruto suddenly yelled reaching for the chopsticks. Sigh. A one-track mind as always, Tamari said. The three Sand siblings finished their meals and paid as they got up to leave. Well see you later Naruto-kun, Tamari said as she and Kankuro left. Uzumaki Naruto, would you like to talk later? Gaara asked. Oh, well I'm on a date with Hinata today, but if you're free tomorrow, that's fine after I'm done training, Naruto replied. Oh, and just call me Naruto. Calling me Uzumaki Naruto all the time sounds weird. Alright then, see you tomorrow, Naruto, Gaara nodded as he walked off. Naruto-kun, you're amazing, Hinata said breaking the unusual silence that had fallen over them as they ate their meals. What do you mean Hinata-chan? Naruto asked. Why you're just amazing. Why you always inspired me to be strong, and your strength was even able to help Neji-ni-san, and Gaara-san, Hinata said. Ah, it's nothing really, Naruto said rubbing the back of his head blushing with embarrassment. Well, let's go home, Naruto said as the two got up. Naruto paid the bill and the two headed back to the apartment. Naruto-kun, Hinata said getting the blonde's attention once again. What's up Hinata-chan? Naruto asked. Thank you for today. It was great, Hinata said with a smile. Sure. Naruto smiled back. No, I should be thanking you Hinata-chan. Thank you for truly accepting me. Knowing you care about me even with the Kyuubi, it just makes my life worth living so much more, Naruto said to himself with a smile.